What's going on, team? It's time to get back to the trading action. I'm excited about the day. Yes, can you guys believe what I'm going to do right now? I'm saying, and I'm going to go on a little edge here. I'm saying, green light, baby, green light for this market. And the reason why I feel like we're keep holding that 408 on downturns. Now we just need to get up through the 415s. If we can do that today, I feel that we'll get that drive up. We got to keep watch on these stocks and find out how the swing trades are going. And I have a special guest for us today. So smash the like for some special guest action. You guys tune in. This is going to be a fun one. Let's get to the action. Live trading here on Benzinga.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Those words have been dancing around my head all night. Oh, it's Vegas lore, that phrase.
All right, team, let's get it started. Let's go ahead. We're going to bring on Faloona. You guys might know him, right? Who's that guy? That guy right there. You know him. We'll get to the action. There's always some movement going on right now. I'm going to just really quickly run through the SPY, and then I'll tell you guys about our special guest that we have in the background while Ryan gets to his stocks. But one thing that I was pointing out yesterday, right, before any of this action happened, was that I felt that we could be stuck in that hourly range, right? I pointed out before, looking at the 408, 407 area for support, and then above, we drew this trend line already, and it went to the key, right? It went right back up there towards that. We were able to play yesterday both sides of the trade. I think that's very important to notice, right? That just shows us how we've been stuck in that range, right? We went up to 415, went back down to 410, bounced off the 410, came back down to the 410. Then by the end of the day, we were already back there towards that 414. So that just goes to show us the volatility in this market and the chop that you need to get around. So traders out there, one thing I would really recommend is taking a look into understanding how you can use an ATR, average true range, where you see here at the bottom that I have, right? And using that to give yourself an ability to get around some of the volatility on these names. So what is that sometimes going to take? That's sometimes going to take a little bit of downsizing. Like always, you guys consider if this option is best for you, but just wanted to put it out there and we'll keep watch. Now the rule of three is already in. You guys see it. 3 resistance tries, 3 areas of support tries. Now we're going to look for either a pull down towards around 410 and then a bounce up towards 415, or just a breakout right out the gates. I'm actually feeling pretty bullish about this setup because it is a bullish setup. And until it breaks the pattern, I'm going to stay bullish on the day. What's the breaking of the pattern? That's a close below the kind of the 408 on an hourly level. And then that will go ahead and help us out to show that we are getting this breakdown. If we come back towards this 405, yeah, I think we break the pattern. But if we can hold there, these pullbacks like we did yesterday going towards 408.50s, let's get back up there towards the 414s, 415s. I think you'll get that breakout. Big stock to watch, Apple today, right? Apple, look at this little setup on the hourly. It look like we got that nice up move, down move, up move, down move, up move, down. That's that 3 bottom now. I'm looking for around the 150s to hold and for us to push up towards the 155 on Apple. We'll see what happens there. And then look for reversals in Google. They've been really hit hard as of late. It's going sideways. Now you have levels to go off of below, kind of that 94 as your risk. Could pull back really close to that out the gates. But if I start seeing a drive through 95, this is going to be looking good for a little reversal action there in Google as it's been beaten down. I'm going to look to see if this one can bounce back today and if Amazon can get through 100 on coming back up, right? You can see right here, it's been kind of like building this little U shape right underneath the 100. Let's see if it gets above that 100. And if the market makes the move for the 415, I'm looking at some of these big boys for the upside action. And just to give you guys full disclosure, am out of the Tesla swing, was able to get out with a small loss on the share size. But remember, I had taken 3/4 of the profits on this. So yeah, I still lost a tiny bit because the kind of the overnight action pushed it higher than my entry, but I was able to get out this pre-market morning with less stress. Gave myself the chance for the big win, which would have been that last fourth of the position. But still, big win for me in Tesla on the short side when many have not been able to short Tesla and get into the profits. That's going to do it for my talk here. I'll pull all my charts and then I'll pull up Ryan's charts. And I do have someone in the back that I want to mention before Ryan gets started. You guys might know him in the chat. Smash the like. You guys know it. We got none other than the Crow in the house. What's going on, Crow? How we doing?
Good morning, guys. Thanks. Everything is great. Thanks for having me on, and looking forward to the day.
Yeah, excellent. Like, one of the things that I was telling the Crow before we get started was that Zunaid is taking a little bit of a little break from his trading right now. He's focusing on some other things. He will be back with us, but we want you guys out there that are trading and want to be a part of the show. You guys have the door open. The office is open, like Ryan and I always say. We don't close that door. You guys have the opportunity to come on here, talk about strategy. And like always, we're not here to kind of just be talking about the Lamborghinis that Crow's making. I told him to park them in the garage and kind of keep them out of the talk. But hey, like always, right? We want to be about the process. And I thought we would be great to have the Crow a part of the show. So you guys smash the like in the chat and we'll keep going. All right, Ryan, I'll let you get through some of the stocks that you're looking at, and the Crow will kind of fill in there in between if there's anything that he has to mention for those types of plays.
All right, sounds good. Crow, welcome to the show. Looking forward to this. I got to say, you sound incredibly excited and cheerful, so I'm going to need you to kind of mediate that today just to make sure we can get through the show. I kid. I'm just joking around. Anyway, thanks for joining us. Really looking forward to this. Looking forward to some of the great calls that you make live via audio here, as opposed to having to type them too. So this is going to be really, really exciting. I'm going to roll through a list of stocks here. If you have anything that you'd like to add to some of the stocks that I'm looking at, please feel free to jump in. If you have stocks that you want to go over when I get to the end of this list, let me know and tack them on. Let's get a watch list for the group here right out of the gate. Now, the first one that I'm looking at here is going to be Tenon. This is, or Tenon, whichever one. TNON is the ticker. This is going to be another one of those small caps here. We popped as high as 189, 190 area. We've actually tried to test this level 4 times here in the pre-market. We've pulled back down to this 150 handle each time. So we're kind of hanging right above 150 here. What I really want to see, as always, is going to be this increase in volume. I think that one of the things that might make this tough, although I suspect 189 to fall if we continue to push this level, as you can see, it's been rejected every time it's got up there. So clearly buying this at support as this curls back up is probably going to be your safer entry. So we'll see if we get another opportunity here. As far as like a mile marker here, if we start to curl back up towards this VWAP and we get any type of increased volume, that might be a good opportunity to add the stock and see if we can actually get back up towards that 190 spot. If we break and pop above, great, but we have not shown that we've been able to break that level yet. So that's still coming. One thing to note here about this particular stock, we got a float of about 7.7 million shares. So this is definitely considered a low float stock. One of the reasons you're seeing some of these outsized movements, and you're likely to see more of them today. So just keep that in mind. Less than 10 million shares here in the float on TNON. You got TNON? You watching that at all, Crow?
Yeah, I am. It's an interesting chart. I think it's gotten beaten down for the last, really, it was at 240, and then over a couple of days, it, really hit a low of 95 yesterday, 95 cents. And I expect a lot of this is short covering into the pre-market or after hours last night and pre-market. I'm a little bit suspicious, and I see what pops up here on the bid and the ask is a pretty big wall at 156 or 157 already. A couple of minutes into the market open. So, see how it goes. But I'm a little bit sus on that.
That's a good point. And also with that level two, a lot of shares traded, about 200 shares traded at that 170 mark. So there was definitely a lot of shares changing hands there. As Crow was mentioning, this was down from about 240, 250 area. That's actually the next level that I have here, the next resistance level, if we are able to pop above 189. You couldn't see it from the intraday chart, but what I did here is I came out to the daily chart, took a look at this. If we end up breaking 189, I would say that 248 is probably possible. And then after that, we're looking at about 310. So unsure if we're going to get to those levels. That'd be more than a double from where we're at. 310 would be more than a double from where we're at. But if we can take out 189, let's see if 248 is on deck here. All right, moving along, we're going to go to Sarah now. This is SERA. This is Sarah Prognostics. We do have a catalyst here. Sarah Prognostics, our shares are trading higher after the company announced top-line data from the Avert preterm trial. I have no idea what the Avert preterm trial is. That might be the next step here in the due diligence process. One of the things that I do like here is this 1 minute formation here in the pre-market. First of all, our volume is looking great. We popped as high for the initial pop here. We went as high as 206. We came back in. We've actually already taken that out, and we're kind of holding this next leg up. So we're really staying above 2 here. High we made at about 219, trading sideways here. This one, I'm going to wait, right? We've seen a couple of these where they've just kind of sold off out of the open and then produced their move later on in the day. That's exactly what I'm going to try and wait for here. So what I'd like to see is I'd like to see some more consolidation, maybe a test of this VWAP, test and hold of the VWAP, and then increased volume. I think if we see that, we probably not only challenge 219, but may actually take that out as well. So Sarah looking interesting here, but I'm going to try to be patient. Mitch gave us an excellent lesson on patience yesterday. I'm going to try to adopt that here today. Taking a look at the float number, this one not quite as low float as TNON, but still fairly low float at 19 million shares there. So we'll see where this goes. We'll see how crazy this moves, or how violently this moves, I should say. So Sarah, definitely on watch here. Would love to see it come back in towards that 2 level and VWAP, hold, and then move higher here. Next, we've got Roblox on the list here, and Roblox reported earnings, right? So the conference call is currently in progress, excuse me. Roblox shares are trading higher if the company reported better than expected Q4 EPS sales results. So looking at the pre-market action here, we really have a fairly decent range between 41 and 42.75. This range is going to determine where we go next. If we break down from this range, I think by the time we do that, the VWAP will have kind of crept up towards that 41 level. So we'll see, maybe we overshoot that and find some support. But let's see if we end up keep running here. I'm sorry, English, not my specialty this morning. What I'd really like to see here is a move above 42.70, because I think that puts 46.62 in play. Let's call it 46.50 just for the round number here. I think that this area is the next area to take down if we maintain strength into the day. Now, a lot of that's going to depend on what the broader market does, right? The broader market sells off. Looks like the ES here is kind of rolling over to the downside. I think if the broader market sells off, it might be a little bit more difficult to get Roblox to break out. That being said, if the market continues to move down today, we should easily, or more easily, be able to find stocks that are trading on higher relative strength. So we'll see how Roblox shakes out. This one definitely going to wait, going to place no trades on Roblox at all, no matter what, for at least the first 15 minutes of the day here. Maybe not at all. So we will see on Roblox. Good data from earnings here, conference call ongoing, and we are trading higher here on Roblox. Next is going to be PGY, and we've traded this one a lot off of the scanner. And can't remember what the price was the last time we traded this, but this was definitely a stock that we've traded here before. You can see here we had this huge gap down. I think this was earlier this year. Anyway, huge gap down here. So what we're trying to do is, it looks like we're trying to put a bottom in, right? It looks like this bottomed at about 50 cents. We're currently at 159. Let me go back to the intraday chart here. We popped as high as 187, but as soon as that volume dried off, we actually came back in towards this 155 handle. We've used this as some pretty good support. We're still below the VWAP, but that is compressing. So I'd actually expect this to move up through the VWAP if it has any strength here today. One of the things that we're going to be able to do to monitor that strength is, of course, monitor the volume. I suspect that if we get higher volume numbers, this stock is actually going to move higher. We'll see if that's the case. Again, we want to wait for a setup here. I think with the range from the VWAP, which is currently at 166 up to that 187, I think if we curl and show any type of volume flow, you might actually be able to trade this right before the VWAP, maybe even front run that VWAP number a little bit to have it break and then move higher. Remember, though, if you do that, if you do start buying this before the VWAP and we are unable to break that VWAP, stock's likely to pull back and find some support. So if you don't want to sit through that, or if that's not part of your risk plan, that might be a good way to stop out and then wait for it to set up again. So just an idea here on PGY. We've traded this before. It's been a while before. No reason to expect that it won't be again. Next here we have AMV. AMV is Atlas Motor Vehicles. This one a little bit more subdued. We did have a volume pop here that took us as high as 194. Maybe 2 is on deck here today. If we can challenge that, we'll see. Stock came back in towards 165, really kind of holding right here above that 165 and right below its VWAP. So not breaking down further, definitely good to see, but we want to see some of that buying momentum as this continues up. FUTU, this is Futu Holdings. This is up here today, but again, this is going to be one of those Chinese names with everything going on. I'm just going to completely pass on it. So want to bring it to your attention. We did pop as high as 53. We're at 48 yesterday, so got a $5 range overnight here. We're right below the VWAP. VWAP here is going to be about 51.46-ish, right around there. So if this is something that you want to trade, go ahead. I am going to completely avoid this name. Just thought I'd mention it here in the prep. Next, we have Upstart, and I actually don't think that this was on my list prior. It was not. So Upstart here, I'm pretty sure that they had earnings, right? Someone help me out here with this. Tuesday.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Upstart had earnings yesterday, so they beat the estimate on sales and the bottom line. Looks like a fairly decent report, considering the environment that we're in here. And then it looks like we have some rating adjustments here today. So Piper Sandler reiterated and maintained their price target. Loop Capital upgrades and sets a new higher price target. So some bullish re-ratings there on Upstart. You can see here after the earnings, initial move was down, but it completely recouped that move and is trying to trade higher. So let's see where we can actually get to. Sorry, I didn't have this charted before. I would say that the next level here that we're really looking for is going to be 1839. Next level after that is probably going to be 1950. And the next level after that is probably going to, I don't know, maybe I'd go right here. I go 2145, 2150. So let's use these as the first 3 mile markers. I don't really think we get much higher than that in a one-day move here, but stranger things have happened. So we'll see. Upstart looking like this is bullish. And actually, I'm pretty sure that Upstart has a fairly liquid options chain. So you may be able to trade this. Yeah, definitely liquid on the options chain for Upstart. So that might be another way to actually attack this one. Next, I want to mention Mara here, because Bitcoin made a huge move earlier this morning or overnight or whatever it is. So Mara here, right above $7. Let's see if we can actually take out that 725. It's pretty gappy up to 825. Maybe it finds some resistance in here at about 775. But we've seen Mara and Riot be excellent trading vehicles intraday, moving with Bitcoin here. If Bitcoin shows any strength, I would look for Mara and Riot here. Mara is the one that appeared on the movers tool here today instead of Riot. And then really quickly, I wanted to mention, I guess we can really quickly talk about NU. NU here, this is new holdings. Let me go back to the 1 minute chart here. This is now breaking down. So new holding shares are trading higher if the company reported Q4 earnings results. We were holding right in this range earlier. We've really started to break down. Let's wait for this to find a bottom and then reassess. Last one I want to mention here before I'll have Crow close it out, sorry I didn't leave you much time, is going to be Tesla. Tesla, again, making a new high here. 214 to me is going to be the spot for the upside target here. You can see we actually did have some news here. I don't know if this is really material. Crossover additionally starts on a managed to increase its stake in the company. Maybe this is just follow through from yesterday and the day before. So interesting. We'll go ahead and watch Tesla. I don't really think there's any fresh news. I know I saw the credit that they have, the deadline that they have to make. I don't really think that's attributing to the move here. So we'll see. I'm sorry. I wanted to leave you guys some more time. There's only 30 seconds till we open. Crow, Mitch, you have anything else to add before we get rolling?
I'll let Crow go if he wants.
I think he's in the back.
Oh, I think there he is.
There we go.
There he is. Crow, you there?
Yeah, you can hear me?
Yeah, I got you. I'm sorry. You got for some reason in the background there, but I got you back on here.
No problem. Just at the open, I was looking at RNAZ and TNON, see how it goes. No rush to jump into anything.
All right, there you go. See, now we got that open there, team. We'll see what happens. Tesla is coming down back towards the 211s here, pulling back fast here. Going to leave that one alone. Really not going to touch Tesla unless I'm going long it. And I would go long it if it comes back here towards certain levels. So if it could come back towards like 210, that makes sense for me on Tesla. If you're trying to find the pullback level per pullback, that's around the 210 level. It's going back down right now. Might get a little bit of a scoop buy here in Tesla. Just wanted to cut through 210s first. Don't want to jump in it too early. All right, let's look around. Let's also take a look at what else is opening up right out the gates here. Technology at the top, energy at the bottom. What you got?
I was just going to say Airbnb reported earnings yesterday. Big pop after earnings. Looks like this is actually trying to go here again. No position yet, but Airbnb definitely looking like it's trying to move higher. We'll see if it can actually pop above that 135 level from here. See what the options are doing on Airbnb. That's going to actually be one I'm going to watch on the unusual option activity calendar here as well. I'd like to see if we get any flow here on Airbnb.
All right, I'm looking at that Apple move. It does look nice on the setup, right? I've talked about this setup. We'll look to see if we can get that move above 153.50 here. We just kind of get a little bit of a spike to that. Going to look to see if we're going to do kind of more of a VWAP bounce right now. It already got there towards 152.90s there, so kind of missed the VWAP bounce opportunity. Let's see if it comes back up through the 153.50 on the upside.
TNON stopped at its VWAP here off the little curl out the open. We'll see if we can actually get above VWAP and move higher. Airbnb still flirting with that 132. And Upstart moving higher here, 19 plus. We got about 1930 on Upstart. Let's see if we can break that to the upside.
Google doesn't look too bad today. It is starting getting a little up move towards the 95s. Here's Apple pulling back here. SPY trying to make a little up move.
One of the things I'm watching here is the VIX. We're back into that 18 handle. Every time that we've been in that 18 handle, the market has actually bounced from that, with the one exception where we actually traded into the 17 handle and got a bounce then. So watching the VIX here, 1871, I could see that coming in a little bit before we reverse. Apple
pushing good out the gates. It looks like it wasn't a bad trade there, but you guys saw when I missed the VWAP bounce there at the 152.90s. I'm going to look for it to take off 153.50s here. SPY overall starting to come up here towards the 410s. That's another thing I can just play, right? I could play like the TQQQ today. I don't think that's a bad outlook. Also, if I'm just looking for the upside action breakout for the SPY today, we'll look to see if we get back above 25.50s there on TQQQ today.
Yeah, and Becca, good shout here yet again. Becca, you're on fire here today, or also yesterday. AMC out of the gate here, big pop as high as 480. Now, there's a big seller there at 480, so we'll see. Sorry, I was clicking through RNAS as well. Let me bring up AMC. There's
a nice little level there, pushing now. TQQQ pushing higher. I'm sure the SPY is pushing a little higher. Google, I'm going to look to see if I can get that one on a VWAP pullback. It already did kind of a little push out of the 94.75 area, above the 95s now. Tesla back up there towards 213s. Didn't get through that 210 level. Got close and went to 210.50s. Tesla, it looks like buy the dippers came in there. That's for sure. Microsoft coming back after it did a little bit of a red move right before the bell. Now it's back below the 270 level where we saw a lot of buying yesterday.
Yeah, I see Ron mentioning AI. Ron, by the way, Yeah, the Zoom updated and changed the way it works, so it's requiring a passcode. I did email you that passcode to get into the happy hour. Sorry about that. Yesterday I was live and didn't see your email while it was happening. Anyway, Ron mentioning AI here. I noticed that the AI stocks were all down a little bit here in the pre-market, and I wondered if maybe that train was ending. Now, AI, ticker AI, C3 AI, popping here out of the gate, although it is pulling back here a little. Look like it popped as high as about 2360. Coming back off of that high. Some of the other AI names that we've traded, both Sound and BBAI, those are all coming in here. So I would wait for that to actually bottom here. If you still think that there's some legs here and you want to kind of buy the pullback and before it reverses, totally understand the strategy there. Just make sure you have a plan in both directions.
All right, looking at SI. SI is pulling back significantly right here out the gates. It's already been pushing. That was a mention. It got a buy from Citadel, a stake, 5.5%. Looking to see what happens today in Coin pushing out the gates here. Doesn't look too bad for a VWAP bounce type of opportunity. 60-40s will get me in here. I'll let you guys know if I do take it.
Your Ryan, your Roblox that you refuse to trade no matter what is actually breaking out really nicely here.
Awesome. Did you trade it?
I was looking at it, and I was looking at some other stuff, RNAZ and TNON, and it's just coming out real ugly out the gate with those particular two. But Roblox was a great move there. Look at that.
Oh, man. Coin with the pullback there. Didn't get the fills, and it popped about 40 cents right off of that. We'll see if I get the fill. I'll let you guys know.
Mitch, I'm going to throw your screen up here and refresh.
All right, there you go. Just got some fills there on Coin on that pullback there. I was looking to get some. Let's see if I can get some more shares added in here. I have 39 and 35s to add. I had ranged them into the 40 range there. That went down to 44 now. We'll look to see if Coin can come back up.
So I jumped in while you guys were speaking in SERA just a moment ago, and seeing a lot of strength here, and I think it's going to break this 222 pre-market high, but it just rejected it. Again? So SERA.
SERA. Got you. I'll put it on the left-hand side of my charts.
It just did a total false breakout. It just flushed me out of that trade, and then it just seemed like it would, it was pumping the volume. So it looks like a nice trap there. Still holding, but just not confident with a big flush down like that right off the gate, and didn't hold right out of the morning. So gonna leave it alone.
It did flush all the way to its VWAP right there, and it looks like it's trying to hold here, but I'm with you there. It could very easily break down, take the next leg down. Volume here looks good, but it's selling volume so far. We really want to see that pick back up. Here we are at VWAP and now below VWAP on Sarah. Crow, first stop is your best stop, my man. This actually continued to come in a little bit more. PLTR getting mentioned in the chat. PLTR, another one of the AI names. Ooh, wow. PLTR, this is probably the strongest of the AI names here today. Becca, you were saying this had a price target. First of all, this actually cracked above yesterday's pre-market high, which served as resistance. This is frustrating me. I'm sorry, folks. This high right here, this 937, we actually tried to attempt that close to the close yesterday, unable to get through it, got through it right away here today. PLTR definitely looks like it's breaking out here. Good shout there as well.
All right, trying to grab some Google here, team. Let you know
Tesla
if I get filled.
Getting bought into this move down. Apple strong.
Looking to see if I can get some pullback opportunity fills here. Still have some orders out to get filled on some Coin. Trying to get some Google. Still haven't gotten it. Let you know if I get a little bit of a pullback here for Google. SPY overall. I might have to go to my 6 charts here. Go to that. Google Coin on the right-hand side. Google in the middle here. Try to get in there at 94.80s. No fill on that pullback there. I have to modify here. Try to get in.
Roblox continuing its breakout here. Crow, you're absolutely right. Really strong here. As soon as it took that pre-market high out, we just pushed higher, getting extended away from its VWAP, but we'll see where this ends up going here. Nice move out of the gate on Roblox.
Bottom left chart for Roblox here for you guys.
More Tesla calls getting bought into this down move here. So Tesla knifing, but calls are still popping across.
Definitely getting some fills there on coin, getting filled there towards 60-40s. Got to be careful because it came down fast, team. Might have to cut it right here. $59.50s and I'm out there. Showing up right now.
Jay, what spot do you have for Tesla on a pullback here? Trade Desk, by the way, higher, just also had earnings yesterday. Trade Desk, nice move here. Big move was in the pre-market, but continuing higher here.
Just watching Google right now and coin. I'm still in coin. Might get stopped out here though.
Tesla, I think, should find some support at 203 if this down move continues. Still 6 points away from where we're at, so we'll see.
Not looking good here in coin. Coming down fast.
Tanan breaking down here, TNON. Pushed right up to that VWAP and broke down. So this is one of the reasons why we wait, right? This right here is what we want to avoid. If we take a look at this, the big concern here is, first of all, we were rejected at the VWAP, but if you look at these volume bars, they're all red. This is nothing but sellers right now. Until these sellers dry up here and turn to buyers, probably not a whole lot. We'll see if we can end up getting a curl there.
All right, got some coin on, got some Google on that pullback there. So got Google 94.78s. Got Google on that pullback there, looking for it to start getting a little bit higher, get back up through the 94.40s, and then 96 for the upside move.
Palantir back testing that 937, which was your pre-market high from yesterday morning. So remember, we ripped through that. We're back testing it. Let's see if we go higher here now. Day high on Palantir 965. Let's see if we can trade higher on Palantir. Nice strong move here on Palantir. Good eye, Becca. Excuse me. Wow. Try not to make that mistake again. Although Beck was a good music artist. A lot of songs by Beck I really enjoyed. Still have a couple on my playlist.
All right, just added a little bit there at the 94.88s there for Google. Looking for it to get back above 95 now. It's looking good if it can get above 95 and hold there. Coin back into the green here. So one of the things with coin is it came down pretty fast there. So what I want to do is I want to limit the risk here. So I'm actually going to sell half right now. I just sold half. Now I can at least limit the position size if it comes back down towards that 59.50. It felt like the risk was a little bit, it got expanded on there. So I'm okay with staying in the trade. It got 60.36, but I just cut the risk there to make sure that I can stay into this Google trade also and pay attention. Here's coin back up. If it takes out 61.50s, we'll take some profits and then let it continue to work. Google back into the 95s, looking good on my positions right now for my day trades, which is Google upside, coin upside. Let's look at the SPY now up there towards 411s. Want to see that the SPY can go towards 415 and break out today. Let's see if we can start getting this drive to the upside. Roblox continuing, just to mention that one.
Yeah, and real quick, CRDO, Jay Wild, you had mentioned this earlier. CRDO gap down from what, about 20, 19, and 19 and a half. Credo Technology shares are trading lower after the company issued Q4 revenue guidance below analyst estimates. Boy, they didn't like that at all. Interesting part here is we're kind of gappy, right? So if we can actually bounce at all, maybe we end up getting a trade out of this. First spot I'd like to see taken out was 1144. Last time we did that, we knifed immediately right back below that level. So let's see if we can actually cross above that again. Level after that would be 1308. Once we're clear of 1308, we are into the gap. Might get some more action there on CRDO. The other thing I wanted to mention here was going to be Sarah. That Crow, you had taken a shot at this. It's actually looking like this is setting up again here. If I recall correctly from what you said, you were stopped out here, but we kind of reclaimed that VWAP and we're kind of hovering around that VWAP. So wondering if we end up pushing off from this spot right here. VWAP 206. Let's see what happens with this battle. We are right on the VWAP.
Oh,
yeah,
what really?
I'm still looking. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good, Carl.
I was still looking at SCRA, and I've lost confidence in the overall look of it on the 5-minute chart. Anyways, it just seems like it's still extended on the RSI, and I'd gone over to VLON, which has been a runner since Friday, Monday, and so it's making pretty more predictable and smooth moves with VLON. And so the only thing I did was I bought the dip here on the VWAP bounce on VLON, and it's worked out pretty decent so far for just a small base hit trade. That's about it.
Nice.
In and out in 5 minutes, I guess.
Nice. All right, Beck is saying all good, Ryan. Beck's all nickname. I like Beck's. I like nicknames with an X.
We're out to cover some on coin.
Lamb, we see you, man. There's nothing going on with BBIG, and honestly, all you've done is spam that ticker here today. That's not what this show is about. So just kind of chill, my man. Chill.
I'm sorry. I haven't been watching the comments. I'm sorry, team.
No, it's okay. I got it.
Thank you. Yeah, I've just been trying to nail these trades here. Especially these trades are fast, team. Especially coin moving fast.
I'm gonna
I
try
tried to take some
Sarah.
profits there at 61.50s, but I didn't get it.
I'm going to try a little Sarah right here. Got a 209 fill. So I'm going to have a really tight stop. If we break 202, I'm out. I'm looking for a push. I want to see above 220.
Just took another profit there in coin, 61.60. Not looking too bad there from 60.36. So just to kind of mention, that's over a point, like a 0.30 there on the first shares there. Google coming back down. Could add to this, but just got to be careful. Don't want it to see it wash out to 94.50s here on Google. SPY is near the VWAP. Will we get that up move here and then just start pushing? That's what I'll be looking for. Roblox super strong today, team. That thing hasn't turned around one bit. My Google average is 94.83. If it comes back through 95, I'll add again. But if it doesn't come through 95 again, I won't be adding, team. Nice little trend line there on Google.
Yeah, that Roblox,
Coin
it can go. I'm seeing 48 today. That's just, an uneducated guess, but it's really tempting. But it's extended for me to buy at this point.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I missed the move, but no one could have seen that coming.
Yeah, I think that's a very disciplined approach, though. I mean, Crow, as you were saying earlier, I missed it too, right? I wanted to wait that out, see where it could go. Now, when it runs like this, that's where it really gets the FOMO going for me. And I try very, very hard to avoid that because FOMO trades are often the worst trades that I make. So we'll see. We got plenty of time to see where Roblox ends up kind of settling.
Are you still in SCRA?
Yep.
Oh, okay,
Stop 202 on SCRA. 202 is my stop. Entry at 209. Looking for a 222 test and break.
I like that. It's I think it's going to break here for sure, and actually break that 220 and beyond. Like really pop fast. Like it'll snap up.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for here.
What a move and coin here, team. I'm nailing this. Not bad at all. About to take profits here into this move.
Let's go,
here.
Mitch.
Let's go.
Let's go. I was so focused on my own stuff. I missed your winning trade.
Bam! Nailed it. 62.35s on that exit there from 60.32. 2 points on the upside there for coin. Not a bad little move. And what I actually like that I shortened the risk here when it came back. I would have had a bigger win there. It would have been really big. But one thing to always worry about first, risk preservation first, then worry about rewards. Nice little up move there in coin today. And coin, just to mention, I think it could go higher to 63 and then turn around. But I'm just going to take that first base hit. This market hasn't been that continuation style. Take the money and run. I got it. Let's go.
Yeah, really nice. That's just like what I would say is like your sympathy play with when Tesla was running and Rivian the other day. It had broken out, and you had a
Mm-hmm.
reason to trade this, which was Bitcoin went up pre-market, and it was very logical. And I could see how you took that trade. It was a really nice one.
There's Sarah trying to go up higher through the 215, 216. Will we get it through the 220s? Like the curve effect that it's showing. Now I just want to see that ramp up in volume as it gets through that 220.
Yeah, and this is the if you're watching the trading action, it's been a lot of this, right? It looks like it wants to go, doesn't really
Boom.
quite go, might even stop me out here. Is it really going to stop me out? Come on. Back down to VWAP. Let's see if we can get another push here and move. Break a 20 or test a 202 here, and I'm going to be stopped out.
All
Only
right.
5 cents away.
Leveling in here for Google. Already got some ad there. Now let's see if it takes off through the 95. Wanted to hold 94.90 on pullbacks now and just take off. Let's see if it gets it or not. SPY higher towards 411.50s. Remember, Apple was one of my top watches for up move today. Let's see how that's doing. Look at that. Boom, 154.40s. Apple pulled back a tiny bit and nice little break to the upside on Apple. That looks strong, team. I've talked about the hourly levels here. Look at Apple. Look at this hourly level. Boom, nice chart there on the hourlies. We'll look to see if that can continue higher towards the 155. That makes me a little bit more confident for the upside action here in the SPY. We'll see if it can really push 414, 415. Look at Google now, team. We're deep into the green now. We're looking good. Let's see if we can get it to 96. That's where I'm going to take some profits into like the 95.90s, 95.80 area. Then we'll look for it to continue higher. And then also was looking for Amazon into the 100. We're starting to recover the VWAP here. Can we go for that 100 push? Just put in plays on the radar. You guys determine your trades.
Bro, what are you seeing on BuzzFeed, my man?
It just popped a little bit. I think it's just a small reversal, and I was really looking at the 4-hour chart on this one. It's been a disaster since that original top. It's really come down a lot, but was looking for specifically a breakout on the 1-hour or 4-hour chart. And so when it does run like this, I kind of look and wait till it's up more like 30-40%, and then I'm going to look for like a 5% trade on it and really be patient, or a 10%, something like that, and just really take small trades all day long because I'm here all day long, right?
So let's take a look here at BuzzFeed real quick. While Crow was giving his outlook, stopped out on Sarah at 202. And I don't know if you folks were watching that. Boy, when I say your first stop is your best stop, I am not kidding. That took all of the stock at 202 and then immediately dropped. Went as low as 191, it looks like, was that low print. Trying to bounce here. I'm out. I took a loss on it. I will wait for this to set up. Again, your first stop is your best stop. Crow, we are both the same on Sarah here today, stopped out for a small loss.
All right, I just want to take a second to talk about a swing trade that I took on Start Swing Trading. So if you guys are watching that show, you'll catch more and more of these. And that's why I'm trying not to mention them too much here, because this is more our day trading action. But ITW is one that I'm in, team. That's a diversified industrial. We just got close towards my entry. I'm still actually in the red slightly here because of the spread. 237.81 is my entry there for ITW. And that's kind of more of a GE Honeywell style play, diversified industrial. We'll look to see if it comes back.
AMV, someone mentioned this earlier. I think it was Wally, right? Wally, you were saying check out AMV. Great curl here on Wally out of the open. You moved past the VWAP on pretty decent volume, then back tested that VWAP. Now it's actually pushing away. So 194 here is going to be the spot. I have no position in this, still recovering from the stop out here, but this looks pretty good. Let's see if AMV can pop above that 194 and give us another trade.
All right, Google pulling back here. Really don't want to see it break down through the 94.75 here. That will get me out of the trade, and it'd be a really small loss. We were actually deep into the green there, about 30 cents here, but not going to push it on the risk side on Google because Google's the weaker stock. I got out there on that cut. It's literally cut, and I'm not going to fight it there. Got it out there at 94.71. The average was in the 80s, so lost like maybe 17 cents on it. But we were up about 30 cents on the name. Not going to fight the tape. It gave the chance for the breakout, didn't give me the breakout, and that's why I cut it.
Yeah.
That's Google right there.
Tech tips. Tough for me to say, right? Tech tips saying SPY dropping hard. Yeah, it is here. Big pull here on the SPY. Actually feels a little bit trappy there. It looked like we wanted to kind of curl and move up there. Immediately hit with sell program, pounding the lows here. So careful if you're trading this.
Yep. Could be a fake out to the downside, right? That's okay too. Looking at the TQQs to see if we hold 24.95s right now and come back up.
TNON, who was asking about this? Let me get the right name there. Grateful to God, G2G that's the nickname I'm gonna give you. TNON. So we outlined this as a potential trade here today. Unfortunately, it did not give us any type of bullish action, right? We pushed up to the VWAP, we were immediately rejected, and we had a whole bunch of sell volume all the way down here to 131. It looks like it's bottomed, but I'm not sure I believe it yet. I want to be a little bit more conservative in the trade here, and I want to make sure that this confirms a bottom here. This still, to me, could roll over. So as of right now, I would say no long side opportunity. Let's wait and see what happens, though. Some of these can run later in the day. We've seen that quite a bit here. Just put it on the back burner.
Recovery there on TQQQ. Google holding the support of 94.50. We'll see if that comes back. Apple at VWAP. That looks interesting for me. I was maybe thinking about 153 40s or 30s here for Apple. Couldn't get the 40s or 30s there, so not going to jump into the 50s. But if the SPY could hold here for 10, not break 410, that's the important level kind of to watch. You can see we wick there right now to 409.74. Let's see if we bounce back.
And the one ticker I was talking about earlier was VLON. It's now become up 50%, which is really good trade right now. It's breaking $1 again, and its overall chart, the 1 hour chart, is actually really telling that was clear that it had this the second sell off in its run, and then it was sort of forming that cup and handle on the
BuzzFeed making a nice stair step too. We'll check that out here in a sec. I really quickly wanted to answer a question here. Sally saying, what just happened? Who said what? I'm assuming you're referencing the down candle there in the SPY. Looks like we have a print here. It says Kiev military administration says around 6 enemy balloons were seen over Kiev on Wednesday. All were engaged by air defenses. Most were shot down. So it looks like we're getting more balloon headlines here, Sally, that is causing that market to go down. The timestamps line up. I guess that's the best confirmation I can give you on what exactly happened. Looks like someone else said that, right? News in this market. Yeah. So Walter, you hit it. Toxic liquidity re the 6 balloons. I think that you're right, Walter. I think that's probably it. At least that's what I got here from my news feed, according to Pro. That looks to be. I
tried to bring up the balloon talk this morning, but it seems like people don't want to talk about the balloons now. I start bringing up the balloons. Now they don't like the balloons.
I just like
see how it goes, Ryan?
So frequently.
See how it goes, bro? Like I start talking. All they wanted to talk about on Monday was the aliens were coming. Now I bring up the balloons and it's now we're bringing up the balloons too much.
So for me, Sunday was a day of rest for me. I got back very, very late on Saturday and I did not get a lot of sleep during my vacation. So Sunday was a day of rest for me. So when later Sunday, like we're shortly before the Super Bowl, when I started to examine some of the news that I missed, I was shocked to see that UFOs were dominating the headlines. But I was like, you know what? I can get with this. I like space. I've seen ancient aliens before. I can get with the UFO talk. Again, just super glad that my plane was not delayed because of that. I would have been irate. Go aliens, says Kevin. Kevin, I'm with you there. As long as they're peaceful and don't want to annihilate us.
All right, looking at TQQQ, reversal off 24.95. Going to give it one more test to that 24.95, and then I'll start getting into it here. So that's the middle chart here, looking at the SPY and looking at Apple also. Looking for Google to reverse. VLON on the bottom left here for that $1 press. We'll see if it keeps pressing.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't be laughing,
maybe
but all of the
Amazon
talk
99.
about balloons, all of the talk about balloons has me laughing, probably more than I should be.
Reversal
sorry,
starting
guys,
to show up.
cut
We'll
off
look to
there
see it.
earlier. I don't know what happened.
No worries.
That's
It,
all right,
it,
man.
it happens.
StreamYard has a mind of its own sometimes.
Yeah. All right, there's Apple starting to come back up there. I like that first entry here for TQQQ. Just got the first entry. Long on TQQQ, not SQQQ, TQQQ. So looking for upside to come in here. Going to let it test back down. Don't want it to break that 24.95. That's an important level. First entry is 25.10s. Willing to add. I got about 4 more entries that I could do here. All right, there's that pop in the TQQQ. There we go. Wasn't able to get the ads, but we're already up a decent amount and went up there back to the VWAP. Look at Apple coming back. That's why I talked about the VWAP bounce there for Apple. It looked good. Now we're coming back with the SPY. That could have been a fake out candle to the downside. I'm going to look to see if we can break through the upside action. That's what we want to see if we're really getting to the push, right? That's a push through 411.50 area going to 412. We'll look to see if that's what we get, or do we get a rejection off VWAP right now, 410.75 for the SPY. Look at Google's action back up.
I want to address something here real quick. Let me go ahead and present.
I'll get you up.
No, I have to change.
Oh,
there
no
we go. There we go. It's okay. So I want to address something here, and I have a perfect visual aid for this. So let's go ahead and throw this up and zoom in so people can see it. Okay. So I want to address this comment right here.
Put a big screen for you.
I want to address this comment here by Christoph. Only balloon that matters is this inflated stock market. Hot retail report today, PPI tomorrow, OPEX on Friday could finally pop all of the hot air out of the SPY and the QQQ. Okay. So Christoph,
you are right, my friend.
You are not the only person that thinks this, and I think that there's more to this. Actually, this was the chart drawn by one of our happy hour regulars, one of the better technicians that I've come across here. And one of the things that he said, the thesis here, you're looking at this as the SPY ETF, right? So one of the things that you're looking at here is this orange triangle, orange, gold, yellow, whatever color you see here. This triangle here is actually bearish because it appears that this price is going to continue to compress and push up. But then the thought here is that if we break down, i.e., if the hot air is let out of this market for whatever catalyst, there's probably going to be a sizable drop. And in fact, the longer we actually trade up and the more we compress, perhaps the higher the amplitude of that move. Now, could it break out? Yes, anything can happen. But to my eye and to the eyes of others, it looks like yours as well, we do have some hot air in this market. And if we continue to drift up here, the down move is going to be more and more painful. So this is one of the things we were looking at yesterday. We all kind of talked about this. We all kind of agreed. One of the other things you're going to see on this chart is that the RSI trend that has been going since the middle of December is now broken. So as soon as this rolls over, we may induce some more selling here. You've got your MACD histogram almost at flat line. So a good spot here, Christoph. I'm hesitate to say this, but I'm also fairly bearish. I think that we probably do break this and trade to the downside.
All right, trying to get some ads there for TQQQ. Average right now, 25.10 still haven't gotten the ads. I have orders placed below 25 here for the test, right below 25 and then back up. We'll look to see if we get that. SPY still testing here. The one that's interesting for me is maybe if Amazon can recover here 99, then maybe risk off like 98.75 if Amazon's going to come back up through 100 today. Apple still looks strong there, still holding the VWAP. That one's a strong name. We can also take a look at that one.
Yeah, that AMV, Ryan, one of the ones you were mentioning in pre-market, It's halted up now, and we'll test this 3-halt theory and see where it goes.
So you're saying that the plan that we outlined at the beginning of the market here worked? Because I would agree with that completely. We had that 194 spot, that 194 break on volume. That's what caught. Look at how big the move up is. Boy, Crow, we traded the wrong stock today, didn't we?
Yeah, I mean, I ended up in VLON, and that worked out all right, but missed this one totally.
That's true. Good spot here, though. And who else was on AMV? I think this was Wally earlier was mentioning this. Nice move here. If I was in this stock, I'll say this. If I was in this stock, I would be closing this when this opens, or at least part of the trade, locking some of these gains in. This is a big pop through 194. You got about 50 cents on that move. So great stuff.
Watching the SPY to see reactions here. Seeing if we're going to get into the 95s on Google. Back up there. We'll see if we get it or not. SPY's is hanging out here on VWAP. 5 minute just closed right on VWAP. We'll look to see if it gets a move up here through 411s and then 412s. The SPY hasn't shown a breakout move. That's why I haven't added on TQQQ. Like for like the winning side, could just let it ride right now, and that's what I'm doing. This Amazon looks interesting for me, team. I don't know if you guys are looking at Amazon, but it's more my type of play. Look at that. It kind of comes back here towards this 80 area, especially on the 15-minute. You can see a lot of wicks there. I think there's some buying pressure in the 98.80s, 98.70s, and it could come back up towards 100 today. Just looking at that play. There's Amazon. Let's see if it comes back up through 99. That's where I really like it, and I could have to risk off of 98.75s. All right, how's the UNG today? Natural gas starting to come back up through the 60s. We're going to look for a 9 close today. And then if it doesn't close above 9, from that point on, we're going to start being break even on the rest. I've given UNG time to run. Now should be the time where it actually starts closing above that 9. Don't want to see a close below like 850s today. If that happens, well, we could be testing back towards support, that $8. We're going to look for that $9 close.
AMV open and higher now, so it looks like we went as high as 270 there on AMV. Again, looks like it's going to come back in now, possibly have a downside halt if that happens. AMV, like I said, if you were in that halt, close it, or at least some of it. Make sure you get some of those gains. This definitely a candidate for a downside halt if we get a rug pull.
Down action here in the SPY team, getting some fills there on TQQQ. Got one fill here. Down towards 2503s now. Want to see if we wick here at the 2490s. Don't really cut through, let's say like 2475s. That would be the cut down. SPY through the 410s is something to watch for downside action. Apple coming back to VWAP. We'll look to see if it can bounce there. Amazon rejected the move to the upside. It's getting a little bit slow. It's 10 o'clock here. We'll see what happens. Any 10 o'clock numbers?
Oh, Jay, AMV might be an offering sitting out there. The Feb 10 news, 6.45 million units. Really good. We don't know. I don't know if that's the case, but you know what? Really good heads up here. Again, when you're trading some of these, especially intraday, here we go on a pullback on AMV, risking a downside halt here. When you're trading some of these intraday, it's always smart to take your gains. And we've seen that a lot, especially in this market environment. Do not overstay your welcome. You got a great pop there through 194 into a halt and then higher out of that first halt. There should be no one still trapped in this name.
All right, team. We'll see if I get that last ad in TQQQ, but we are testing down here. It could break down, though. You got to always keep that in mind. Always know your risk, team. Canceling the last ad for right now on TQQQ. Want to see it come back up through the 25s, and that's where I could start adding. I'm at 25.03. Could have been a little fake out to the downside. There's so many fake outs in this market. It's very difficult to tell.
Don't overstay
sometimes.
your welcome. That's what I'm saying.
Patience, young grasshoppers. Patience.
And that's spelled with a Y, P-A-Y. Don't forget it.
All right. So if we do get the SPY to reverse there, I'll look for Apple and Amazon type of plays. How's Tesla today?
Tesla's lower. Tesla's lower. Really strong pre-market, sold off, but bounced once already. So
it did get through that 210 level that I was looking for pullbacks. Went down all the way to 206. Doesn't look too bad.
Let's have a group discussion about a potential trade here real quick that we've already mentioned. Let's talk about Roblox. I want to get both of your guys' opinions, and then anyone from the chat, please, you're welcome to give your opinion as well. So Roblox, we had a nice strong move out of the gate here, right? My patience, my idea to wait was the wrong idea. If you had just bought this at the open, you'd had a nice trade. Ron, I know you do that a lot. Let me know if you hit Roblox here today. Anyway, now we've kind of that initial momentum has kind of slowed down. Volume has dried up just a little bit here, but still prevalent. We've kind of come in a little bit from the highs at about 45.30. We're currently at 43.76, and we've kind of bounced off this VWAP. So here's what I want to talk about for the rest of the day here. If Roblox continues to hold above or right at, or maybe even right below the VWAP, do we think that maybe we can get another trade here in the afternoon? In other words, might this stock show some strength and push away from its view? I'm going to be looking for that because we've actually seen that with a lot of different names. What types of things do you guys need to see in order to take a stab at that? Is it volume? Is it another piece of news? Is it a specific price level? What would it take for you to take this trade to the long side, given the fact that we just had strong earnings the day before?
So the key here there is if you're talking about a swing or a day trade. Day trade, I think you could have gone off right now the 43s, with 43.26 being your VWAP right there, right? Kind of whole dollar. Or maybe you're looking at the pre-market high. Pre-market high is 42.71. So you'd have to risk a little bit more, right? Now you're talking about probably 60-cent risk. So if it's a 60-cent risk, I have to at least see what? At the very minimum, $1.20 on the upside. From the VWAP there, you have about $2.07. So not the worst outlook there, right? You're still getting a little bit above, closer towards that 3-to-1 outlook. So you have to think it in that perspective for a day trade. Swing trade, I need this to come back here towards about 50% retracement or the hourly levels from prior days price action, which is down to 41.63. So I would be avoiding this on a swing trade today unless it made a major pullback. Day trades, I feel like it's VWAP pullback, and then you can attack it.
Okay, I think the thing that I like the most there, Mitch, is that you related that to your risk management, right? How much upside versus downside, and that is going to help determine whether or not you're going to take that trade. Well said about it being a day trade or a swing trade. I did not specify, so good job on that one. Jay Rice saying Roblox 41.50 would be my stop. That's the high from Q2.
Added on TQQQ, taking my shot now, team. It shouldn't crack through, at least for me, on the 24.80s now. I'm going to look to see if the SPY can turn green on this 5-minute candle. Chicken in.
Yep, 41.50. That looks like that would be for a swing trade. Voodoo saying, Ryan, your chart showing slight negative divergence on Roblox. Watch your price up on volume down. So I think this is what you're talking about, right? Where the price kind of bounced on. Oh no, that's buying volume. Sorry, Voodoo, not necessarily sure I'm following along. Might just be because I'm dense. Anyway, appreciate it.
All right, looking to grab some Amazon on this pullback. It already just got above 99, so want to add to this name back below 99 and then risk off the 75 area Let's see if I can get a little pullback. It's already at 99.10. SPY reversing, went to the green candle on the 5. That's what I wanted to see, a little bit of a fake out towards the 410s. Now take off. Let's see if we can get it here. TQQQ looking good. Average is 25.03, added in there 3 times, didn't get the 4th. We'll look to see if we get the push now above VWAP. Once we clear VWAP, we want that VWAP to really start holding, and definitely don't want to see 25s crack now. And that can give me a little bit of ability to look for the true reversal now. And what would I lose? I'd lose about 3 cents on the name. Let's see what we get.
All right. And Sarah here, this is, we took a L on this earlier, trying to push away from the VWAP. Looks like it's actually trying to recover the VWAP here. So first of all, first thing to note here is we're still beneath the VWAP, so definitely no trade. But also our volume has kind of dried up. I'd like to see this volume continue to expand. I'd like to see several consecutive candles, several consecutive green candles that grow in size here. That would be ideal for Sarah. Haven't seen that yet. We are coming back up to that VWAP. VWAP currently at 203, price currently at 199. So we're really close. But again, volume here is going to have to tell the story. Already taken 1 loss on it. Don't want to necessarily go back to the well like a degenerate gambler might. I'm getting some more thoughts here on Roblox. Absolutely. Dave says it's a trap. It's a trap. Anytime you're going to say that, you know I'll give you the drop. Jameson, as far as Roblox goes, Roblox upside targets here, you've got 50 and 64. So again, you're talking there about a swing. 50 is going to be this target here. This I'm kind of with you there. I think I had a little bit higher target. I guess I used the wick as opposed to the body of that candle, which put us at 54. But your point is taken. 50 here might be your next level, and then 64 would be above that. 64 corresponds, I believe, with one of these moves in here, right? This consolidation area in here. So looks like that's what you're looking at here, Jameson. What I would also like to know, in addition to your upside targets, if you were to swing this from an entry here today, what would your stop be? Let's always kind of look at things in terms of risk versus reward, because not everything's going to go our way. But I appreciate the levels there on Roblox.
Google trying to come back through 95. That was the level earlier that I looked at. Remember, it came back towards support 94.50, held there. Now let's see if it takes the up move through 95s to 96. SPY back here towards the VWAP. We want to see if it can get to 411, 412s on a push. That's really what I want to see, a bigger bar, right, on the 5 minute. Kind of like you saw here on the takedown 5 minute candle. Let's see if we can get a take up candle where it gets through that, bigger than that candle, showing that kind of bullish engulfing look. We'll see if we get that push now. There's Google 95. Apple still holding the VWAP on Apple. I could essentially still take that one. Have to risk probably down towards like 154, 25s, but we'll see what happens there in Apple. Keeping an eye on the bigger names today. You guys have other trades that are going on, definitely let me know. Technology leading, consumer cyclical, the second place. Industrials behind that, so that doesn't make me feel too bad about my ITW play. All right, let's go back to the 6 charts here. Boom, all right. Google into the 95s, 25-20s now for TQQQ. Nice little push.
All right, so here's one of the things that I was just doing. I basically combined what the group was saying about Roblox. So I got the upside targets here from Jameson. We used the first one here of 50. And I got the downside targets from a combination of Voodoo and Jay Rice. So looking at this potential trade here, if you were to take entry right here at 45.50, you're looking at about a 2-to-1 risk to reward here. If your stop is at 41.50 and your first target there is at 50. You could actually expand this a little bit. If we wanted to raise that upside target to 64, this would actually give us more of a risk reward of, I think this is about 6.75. So the way I would play that, if we're going to use Jameson's upside targets, is I would look to take partial at 50 and then the remainder at about 64. Pretty good risk to reward here, but I'd be remiss if I didn't add the other side of this. Christoph saying Roblox has plummeting demand and rocketing short supply. I'd stay away or short it. Shorting's not my game here. Just trying to go with some long side ideas here, but good stuff here from the group. We've just put together a trade plan just by looking at some of the different levels that the group has here. Absolutely love it.
Two stocks I mentioned this morning, pre-market prep said, well, SI is going to get the lift. Well, look for maybe coin or micro strategy to continue to the upside. Look at the nice breakout there in coin today. Nice little push up there all the way to the 65s. We had this earlier in the 60. So that's just to show it, right? That's a 7% move there if you guys are capturing that coin. I got out already. Not going to be mad about that. I could see the 63s coming. We went to 63.10. Then went sideways, pulled back to the VWAP. VWAP bounced right back up. Coin staying strong. Market overall coming back. Now it's starting to hold VWAP. Now we'll look for it to hold VWAP for the continuation for TQQQ. And I could look for the push. Look at Amazon now holding that 99 to 99.30s. That looks good also there. We'll look to see if we get a push. AI being mentioned in the chat. I got you guys. I'll put that up here pretty big here. You can see how it held the VWAP on the push. And yesterday, good little closing action, right? Now you'll see if you went to the hourly levels, what do you see here? You see about the 23s acting as supports. You got to cut down through red to green here action on AI. Right out the gates, you got a little bit of a pullback there. Now it's starting to really get going. We'll look to see if this can keep pushing.
AI NHOD. Okay, so Ron, you were on AI earlier. We saw the AI stocks looked a little weak, except for AI. That's ticker AI. That one seemed to be strong here. Looks like we put in a new high here today. So Ron, good eye yet again on AI. Good eye on AI. That is HOD here.
Look for maybe sound to get back above the VWAP right now. It is trying to get back above the VWAP. We'll see what happens there. Google taking a nice little lift there to 95.27. So my Google outlook wasn't really too bad, team. Didn't risk down there towards the 94.50s, but it could have been a good level to risk there. You can see clearly how it's holding that as support. Now starting to get the upside action move. Apple was on VWAP for so long now. Let's see if it takes out the 154.50 on the upside. Another one, of course, Amazon. I've talked about that move. Will it get towards the 100 today? We'll keep that one on the radar. SPY now back there towards the 411s. But can we get to the 412? That's really what I want to see there on the SPY. And now hold 410s, not break 410s on the downside action.
Ron, nice trade on AI. You were on that earlier than anyone else here in the chat, and you were rewarded. Congratulations, man. Pat yourself on the back. Get yourself a steak for dinner. The one thing that I wanted to mention here is going to be AMV, right? Because one of the things that I talked about, first of all, we had the spot outlined at 194. I took it off my screen. Crow identified that pop right through the 194 level, gave us a great trade through that level into an upside halt, and then opened up higher. So it actually gave you a second opportunity to exit the trade if you had profit. This is why I was saying make sure that you take your gains or at least partial. We completely round tripped. We came all the way back down to 194. We're actually 2 cents below that level here. So again, especially on some of these smaller names, they're not all going to be HKDs. They're not all going to go from $4 to $1,000. Make sure that if you get gains, especially if you get gains quickly, take them. You can always redeploy those profits into other trades. And if you want to do more of a swing or more of a long and hold or a hold long, then you can take some of those profits and roll them into your longer time frame trades. You know, I was stopped out on Sarah. I had a little bit of a gain there. 209 entry, got as high as about 215. Wanted more than that, ended up taking a loss because I didn't take the gains there. So when we get pops like this, when you get big moves like this, be sure to take some of that stuff off the table.
Yeah, I've been looking, and you know, I was speaking a bit about this when I was trading earlier. Was BuzzFeed, and I had jumped in at the VWAP here at 180, and I'm looking for two. You know, the way the volume's been going, it seems strong, and this is just a pullback, and further to go for two really. But I'm ready to start really exiting the position once I see that pop come up pretty quickly. And I think it's just running off the news of AI really, but it just lagged a little bit. So there's a little bit of time to figure it out.
Yeah, I think you're spot on there, man. I think, first of all, love the entry, right? You actually waited for the pullback here to VWAP, and then as soon as it curled away from the VWAP, took entry right there at 180. I think that's really disciplined, Great entry there, and this is this is exactly how you want to trade some of these moves here. Now that we've kind of extended away from that, the things that I would want to know are, do you have actual price targets, right? So would you take some of this off at 2? Are you waiting for a pop? Are you looking at the volume? And then subsequently, where's your stop at? Is your stop at break even? Are you moving it up here to maybe 190 in case you lose it here? What's the exit plan here in terms of like levels, if you have them?
Okay, well, sometimes one thing that I learned is that I sometimes look away from the 1 minute chart and I go to the 5 minute chart.
Let's do it.
Because the 1 minute chart, it worries you because then you see a candle, but on the 5 minute chart, it somewhat puts it into perspective. And so when you see these pullbacks on the 1 minute versus the 5 minute, it doesn't scare you off as easily. And that's really how I learned to hold some of my winners.
Awesome.
Because looking at a longer time frame, it really does change the strategy as things are going, and then you have to decide. And for me, looking at the volume on the 5 minute, the 2 candles back to back in the last 10 minutes were significantly bigger than the previous ones on the breakout, and so it seems like it has that strength to go to 2, and so that's really the 5 minute chart is what I'm looking at, not so much the 1.
Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely love that. That everything that Crow just talked about was process related. Every single thing that he just mentioned, process related. That's exactly the type of stuff that we're trying to cover here. Crow, that's awesome. You know what? I might start incorporating this into my own. Maybe I'll be able to get a little bit better exits on some of these trades that we find good entries for. Appreciate that, my man.
Starter on Amazon there. I saw a crap ton of volume come in at like kind of 99.20 areas. So I put out an order to get in it on the pullbacks. It filled on the pullback. That's 98.95. Willing to add here in the 80s and then risk off the 98.75 there for Amazon. Look to see if that can come back up and keep ripping. I'm just calling out some stocks today. Some solar stocks are doing really well. Of course, SEDG had the earnings. Now that's keeping some of those solar stocks afloat. All right, now Amazon recovering 99. That looks good to me. It wants to get above the VWAP. It just tapped it, 99.07. Wanted to get back above VWAP, and from that moment on, not break VWAP. Right. So when stocks get back above VWAP, like kind of like this TQQQ above, right? When stocks are coming down towards support and then we get back above VWAP, there's a point where we wanted to start holding that average, right? We wanted to start holding those on pullbacks, almost create a new layer of support so that I can feel like, okay, now I have conviction that I can go off these levels. If they break those levels, then it probably comes back down towards the next layer of support. That's why I always talk about layers. There's layers in there, and you need to catch that. All right, we'll see what else is going on. The most underrated trade TV in the game, Will S. Appreciate you, my friend.
Man, Will, you've been a great supporter of our mission and what we're trying to do here, and really, really appreciate that. If we're making a positive impact in people's trading or their lives just in general, that is awesome. So really, really appreciate that, my man.
Yeah, man. Trading can be a very difficult thing, and you can find a lot of traders that are going to be more kind of envious of you versus trying to help you. And I really love that we're getting an area where I really feel like our community is supportive of each other.
Me too.
I can tell you from a person that's been in at least over 20 chat rooms, this is really, really good to see, team. Love it. Keep helping each other out, because in the end of the day, are we really trying to see others suffer? No, we want to see them succeed. All right, so now you see on the TQQQ, what does it do there? Wicks below VWAP, closes what? Now above that VWAP. Now from this point on, I could hold to this low, 25.12. If I wanted, I could put a stop there. And from this point, the trade, even a day trade, becomes no loss. Take the risk off, brush it off to the side. Either we're going to get the breakout in the SPY above the 412s, or we won't, and I can take the trade off. That's what I'm going to go ahead and do. So I'm going to do it a little bit lower than that 25.12s. I'll do 25.10s and make sure that I get a profit. put it at the 2509 spot, and now I'll look to see if this SPY can take off through 412. Amazon, very similar. Now that we're starting to hold above 99s, we don't really want 99s to break, and you want to see it get through that 99.30 where a crap ton of volume came in. Look at this volume change. Look at this volume change, team. It went from, this is on a 1 minute. It went from trading 100,000 shares, 600,000 shares. 6 times the volume in 1 minute. We'll see if we can get back above that level. It's going to be very vital because if it was a buyer, it could have brought the market and then it comes back through his levels. It won't look bad. Could have been a seller, right? Very important to clear that back. Now we're getting back towards 99. Don't want it to crack there. Got to watch this candle. 98.78 here is the breakdown. So you got to just be smart. Just be quick to these trades, especially with this market. Will the SPY give us that hold of VWAP and get towards the 412?
Carvana, Jay, you had mentioned Carvana here. Carvana on the move. Interesting here. We did pop right up to this 12 level, right? On some pretty decent volume, at least for today. Now, if we take a look, I'm actually on the 15-minute chart here. If we take a look back here, this 12 level seems to be fairly important. This acted as resistance and support. So it'll be interesting to see here if, in fact, we do move higher or if we get rejected here. Carvana had extreme short interest the last time we were trading this. Let's check in on that short interest now. Okay, so wow. So first of all, we did get an update. The last print that we were looking at here was from middle of January, had 86.5% of the float shorted. We're actually only down 1%, right? We only have about 85.5% of the float shorted. So really kind of a minuscule change there. Days to cover went down an entire day here. So with this dropping, this I think you can probably cover up. This number here being low limits the length of whatever type of short squeeze you might see. If this number was like 5, 6, 7, or even higher than that, I think you could see some pronounced short squeezes that might be worth trading to the long side. Not seeing that here. So still a very, very high percent of float shorted. Days to cover coming in a little bit. Still worth watching, though, especially on this move up, because you're right. We are definitely on the move here today and popping. Let's see if we can get above 12.
I use a 9 EMA. I don't really use the 15 to 200 in the intraday action. I only like to look at them in the daily action. 9 EMA is more of my intraday action thing to kind of follow. That's the light blue line that I'll have on my charts. I like 9 EMA specifically because it's a trigger line on the MACD, and we know how many traders use the MACD, right? All right, let's see if we get that lift now. It's really setting up for the move. The only question is, will we get it, right? Just look at the spot. Look how it's setting up for the breakout. Now we just got to see if we can get that breakout. Look how the MACD pointing to the upside here, right? Let's go to a 5 minute here and look how this is starting to look like we're trying to recover and then push, right? So we came down, we've recovered a lot of price action. Now we're looking like we want to push. And what I'm really looking for is the move to 412, which is up in this space. If it can do that, that's where I think we can really start driving. And then even the bears, the intraday bears are like, all right, yeah, I'm not going to step in front of this big move to the upside. We'll see what happens, especially if we can clear it through this high here on like an hourly level. Let's go to the hourly level and see that price action. That's the move towards 412.64. Let's see if we get that action here to the upside. All right, there's 99.30 showing up there for Amazon. Didn't get the ad. I had it set up there for 99 on any pullback. We'll look to see what happens here. TQQQ starting to get a little lift. I'm going to focus in here to take some profits, team. You guys do what you guys got to do, and always focus on your trade. We'll see what happens.
Booglog, what's going on, Booglog? Nice to see you here again. Asking to take a look at SoFi. I will take a look at SoFi here for you. SoFi actually given a pretty good move here. This is not on my radar. I wasn't prepared for this. I wasn't looking to trade this or anything, but taking a look at this move here, pretty nice, right? We pretty much pushed right off that 681, back tested VWAP, and are continuing higher here. Really only about 40 cents of movement. But nice orderly movement. If we flip over to the daily chart here, what we'd really like, let me turn VWAP off so this is actually easier to see. What we would really like to see, awesome that we held this island, okay? Awesome that we held this island. When we popped out of here, we traded up, came right back in, held this spot. Definitely what I want to see. Now it looks like we're continuing to go higher. First target here, definitely going to be that 772, maybe call it 775 if you want, and then a move through 8. That's what I would be looking at here on a next move for SoFi. If I didn't get that, I wouldn't stay in it. I have no position in this, just trying to analyze it for you here. This looking good after this back test here on SoFi. Let's see if we can get some continued multi-day strength here as opposed to something coming right back in. The market's been choppy. That can bleed over to stocks. We want to try to avoid that. Choppiness is going to end up whittling down your capital.
All right, the chat mentioning it there. Jay, Colin, Crow, what's up with the buzz? You got that little push?
Yeah, I took the profit off the table just
My
when
boy.
it spiked above 2, and
Awesome.
Take that money and run, right?
Yeah, exactly.
There's nothing wrong with taking the money and running, team, especially when you're looking for something for a while and being patient. When you get that thing, don't start getting greedy at that point. A lot of traders will get to that point. They're saying, oh, I'm waiting for a $2 pop. I'm waiting for a $2 pop. The pop comes and then they're like, oh no, can I get $3 now? At that point, we can't be thinking about that. That's going to go when you go into your greed. Know the levels you want for profit. Try to nail in, nail out, pat on the back. Execution, always so important. If the stock goes to 8, yeah, you'll feel something, but don't worry about that. Your job is not to feel. Your job is to execute.
Touche.
Boil the frogs. What's up with Boyle?
Well, Nat Gas yesterday, it was interesting. Nat Gas went up yesterday, so that was different. Nat Gas
up yesterday? What?
Yeah, I know. I'm surprised too. More interestingly, Nat Gas down here today. Now, it's worth noting that Nat Gas is down just fractionally here, down 1.68%, about 4.3 cents. So really not down a whole lot. But man, this trade has been difficult. You take a look at UNG yesterday. That was a nice little up move, and that was nice from the day before. But now we're kind of just giving it right back. UNG really seems to be in this range. And if we look at the daily chart, we should be able to identify that range a little. Here we go. So it's going to shrink as I move it over, but this is the range that I'm talking about. Let me go ahead and highlight this. Oh, I keep clicking on the wrong drawing tool because I'm bad. Let me just go ahead and do, why did that take it off? Why did it take it off? So this range in here really seems to be where we're trapped. Let me back this out a little bit more. Right here. Okay. So this range here, 810 to 890 seems to be the range that we're just kind of floating around in. What I would really like to see is a move out of this range. These range trades, if you're scalping, the range trades or being in a tight range can help. But realistically, what we want to see is a nice outsized move breaking out of this. And to me, the way I feel about Nat Gas is that this move has got to be up, right? We're so sold into a Nat Gas. We're still in February. We're still in the middle of the winter. To me, it really seems like this should go higher, but we're not getting that action. So this is one of the things that I'm watching. I want to break out of this range here on Nat Gas.
What's holding us back today for the breakout, at least for right now, is Microsoft's down move. Microsoft is down today. It's been a very strong name. I just wanted to note that.
And real quick here, Captain Kirk, nice to see you again, Captain. Nat Gas is a death trade. Eyes on and hands on constantly. It's nasty. I totally agree with this. In fact, in our happy hour, we've nicknamed this the Widowmaker, right? Nat Gas, as far as commodities go, is the Widowmaker because it does not seem to do what it should. It's got really crazy moves. Boyle, it really exemplifies that. I mean, if you take a look at the daily chart of Boyle, you can see how crazy this particular asset can be, right? I mean, there was a point where we were swinging between 20 and 140. 40 up to 140, back down to 40, up to 125. So, I mean, just all over the place. This is a hard one to trade, but there are a lot of people looking at this.
All right, team SPY trying to close a 15-minute candle above the trend line. We'll see if we get that. That's around the 411.50 area. If we close there in the next 5 minutes on a 15-minute, we'll look strong. Let's see if Microsoft can come back to VWAP. That one's the weak one of the bigger names. Tesla trying to come back there, trying to hold the VWAP around the 210 level that I was looking for pullback buy opportunities. So you are reclaiming that 210. It's kind of a level that I'd look for if I wanted to swing on Tesla. But I'm going to focus more on the trades that I already have, which is Amazon and TQQQ. Just a note, Apple almost there to the intraday high. And we were looking at that one right off the VWAP. Multiple times you had an opportunity to grab Apple there. Look at that move right there on the 3-minute. Now you're back up towards these highs. I know some people are selling probably into that 154.30 area, but we'll look to see if we get higher than that. Hoorah! Says Brian. Let's go.
You know what? That would be a really good job. We need to get an Al Pacino "Son of a Woman" hoo-wah like drop on the sampler here. That'd be fun. You're giving me ideas here.
Let's go. We'll see what else is going on out there. Sabrina giving shout out to the Crow. Appreciate the presence today. Definitely.
I'm gonna give a shout
and
out
you guys
to
out
Will,
there too
100% on his options trade. Ring that register, baby.
Ooh, take it. And I think it's important, you guys out there. Like I told Crow, he doesn't have to come on here on video. If you guys just want to come on audio too, you can do that same thing, right? We're here for you guys, and we want to keep building. The always key thing that we're looking for is for traders that not only think about themselves, but are more than willing to help the community.
All about process, all about the community. That's what we've been saying from day one, and we will maintain that disposition.
Yep, because that's what helps us all grow, right? At the end of the day, it's not just one trader growing. We're not here to support my trading account, even though, there's some chat rooms out there that do that. We're not here for it, right? That's not what we're here for.
That doesn't give us any long-term benefit. That's the reality.
Uh-oh. 8-ball read. They're calling for it.
All right, what do we want?
Captain Kirk.
Let's as a community come up with a question to ask the 8-ball. The 8-ball was a little bit of a punk yesterday and decided not to give us an answer. Let's see if it's shed its punk bitchness today, and if we can
are the
get
balloons aliens?
Is that what you want to do? That's in the lead right now. Chat, let me know what you want to ask the 8-ball. I kind of like the alien question, not gonna lie.
Because supposedly China was mad at us because supposedly we've been having surveillance balloons over China also.
Why would we use balloons when we have satellites and airplanes?
I don't understand this, Ryan. This is why from the very first start, I told you, are we really talking balloons? But I try my best.
Okay. We're going with the aliens. So here we go. So let's do it. We're gonna go full screen here. Hopefully I don't scare anybody away here. We're going to ask the 8-ball. Okay, Magic 8-ball. We are going to ask, are the spy balloons that are creeping up all over the world, are they alien related?
What does it say? I can't get the focus.
It says most likely.
Most likely.
We said we were going to get to the bottom. We are at the bottom. The spy balloons are all aliens now. Chat, what are we going to do? How are we going to trade this? Oh my goodness. What a revelation here on Hump Day, Wednesday morning. The spy balloons are aliens, folks.
We'll see.
By the way, Mitch, shout out to the X-Files music drop there. Absolutely love that. Did not expect that. Perfectly timed on your part. Way to go, my man.
The X-Files. I remember the X-Files a lot. Looking to see what happens with this 15-minute candle on the SPY, right? Talked about this level. Will we get the close up here or will we get the close below the trend line? That's very important. Below the trend line, we can test VWAP.
I'm sorry, we're getting a bonus 8-ball question
30
here because Jay is just all about it here today. Will Tiger make the cut this week? Tiger is returning to the PGA Tour. Will he make the cut? Can you go full screen on me? Can you go full screen on me?
I don't know if anyone cares about Tiger, but
As I see it, yes. Okay, so this is good. So first of all, this is really good. The 8 Ball decided not to be a punk today and actually gave us some answers. We got answers on the spy balloons and aliens, and Jay, bingo, Tiger is going to make the cut. Let's check the accuracy of the 8 Ball. Let's watch that and figure out exactly what's going to happen. Good stuff here.
1 minute, 1 minute on this 15-minute candle. I think it's vital if we can close back towards like 411.30s, 411.40s on the SPY. Below VWAP close on this 15-minute candle, you can get a wipeout to the downside. Got to really be protective on this. Don't want to lose on the names. Give the ability for the push. But if we do break down here, it's not looking good, at least 30 seconds from the candle closing, 15-minute. We'll see what happens here.
Guys, BuzzFeed making a move towards the highs here again. So, Crow, I think that you said you were out of this. We got a bid under the price here at 207, and we have a high here of 212. 210 looks to be a level where it kind of traded there before. So let's see if BuzzFeed might break these highs. Jeez, excuse me.
Out TQQQs, 2509s, like I talked about, would stop me out on the pullback. Just got me out there. And what does the SPY do? It closes back down below VWAP there on the 15-minute. Be careful, team. We could see a takedown right now. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and just hold right towards break even right now on Amazon, keeping a close eye on it. It's right on the level. It's like a penny away from my break even. Going to see if we recover and hold 90s here. If we come back towards the 80s, I'm just getting out.
BuzzFeed, a little bit of a sell wall here at 210. If that 210 seller falls there, they took some of it. BuzzFeed might go higher here, folks. 211. Let's see if they take 211 out. 212, your day high. This might pop. You might be able to scalp this. 210 might have been the buy there, though.
Well, that's the exact thing. Something like this, I'll continue to trade it. So, I would easily buy back in here, which I did I got filled at 203.
Nice.
And really staying pretty calm because I'm looking at the 1 hour chart as well, the 5-minute chart. And the 5-minute chart, just to me, it tells me that it's got a little bit more, but, I'm only going to stick around for a little bit longer to break this 212. And maybe, we'll see it spike to that 220 area and sell off again. So I'm not going to take much risk on it.
Yeah, I like that. And Crow, with it being extended up here, I think that's the right approach, right? You said you had a 203 entry. I don't recall what you said the stop would be here, but I agree, right? I would just
out
look
Amazon.
a little bit of scalp.
Out Sorry? Amazon, break even on that. Break even on that. I'm not going to be mad about that. Still keeping the coin profits. That's what matters to me. Still have a cushion on the day. We'll see what happens. TQQQ was a positive trade, but it was a very, very minimal positive trade. So just got out of that one. Just didn't get the momentum push that we needed, right? I looked for the move for the 412. Didn't get it. Doesn't mean it can't happen now, but that's what matters, right? Timing. Right now, we keep holding 410s on downside action. That's where the bears, I think, will have that downside action continuation. Microsoft is, I think, the one that's holding us back a lot. Look at Microsoft just keep cutting lower. That's what's hurting us right now in the overall market. If you're wondering what's hurting us, looks like to me, Microsoft.
BuzzFeed, after that little bit of a pullback right back up to that 210, 211 level, it is trying to go higher here, folks. I'm watching level 2 on my broker. I'm watching the levels here on the chart, and I'm watching the overall volume level. They've refilled the seller several times here at 210, but I'll tell you what, they break that. You can look for this thing to pop. 212, still your day high here on BuzzFeed.
Yeah, you could see on level 2 a 250,000 share buy order. And the volume's really increasing, so that's a good sign to me when I see that on the bid. That is going to be pretty unbreakable, and I think potential that some shorts are getting called because it's gone up so much. It's been so heavily beat down that you're getting some covering coming in here to so they don't lose everything if it goes to 3. So we'll see what happens.
Up there, taking some of that bid there at 206, but it hasn't broken down yet. Again, another refill on the seller there at 207. That's also getting eaten to the upside. So there's a battle going on. There's that big bid at 205 that you talked about. Oop, they snapped it. BuzzFeed pull here. Let me turn the VWAP on. We're pulling right to that VWAP.
Having a little conversation with Jay, he was saying, why don't you sell some into the strength instead of putting the stop at the break even? The big thing there for me is that I'm looking for a bigger move. It's smaller share size. So if I take that small little gain, that doesn't do anything for me, team. And I'll just tell you that if I'm going to take that small of a gain to the upside action, well, then the problem with that is I shouldn't even be in the trade. Then the profit to loss ratio wasn't right from the beginning. And then, so in that case, there's no need for me to take that trade at all then. And so you got to understand where you think the movement can go. And for me, in that case, it's a bigger move to the upside, going back towards 100 on Amazon. And so you see the sideways act, right? It still could make that towards 100. But I try to give it small risk, bigger return to the upside. And I think at a very minimum, like to get towards that 3-to-1 outlook first, take profits there, and then let it work higher from there, not taking profits at a 2-to-1 or a 1.5-to-1.
All seems like it was all about your risk to reward structure on the trade as opposed to
100%. Yeah, and then there's a point too also when you're in a trade for so long that you get to a point where I have like an inner ticking time bomb, right? Especially on day trades, trades should go. At a certain point, you want to hold to a certain level and not let it continue to like just go back to your entry. And then you get, your risk hit. I think that it's all going to be about how much you put on that volatility and how much risk room you're giving yourself. You also got to consider that on the flip side to rewards. If you keep taking 1-to-1 trades or lower than 1-to-1 trades, you're going to literally need to be about 90% accurate to stay in the green. Let's just be honest, team. I don't think anybody here is 90%.
I am definitely not.
Right, Ryan?
I'll go out.
Like,
I am not.
Let's just be honest.
Man,
it would be very unlikely for someone in the chat to have traded, let's say, 50 to 100 trades and have been 90% accurate. I would love to see those stats if you got it.
Yeah, and so what Jay's rebuttal here, and this is actually some of the things that I do. Jay's saying here, I do the opposite. I trim into strength, and that gives me powder to buy the drip. So this is something that I've tried to do more and more here. And Mitch, I understand that at this point you have a trade plan lined up from the beginning that's a little bit different. But this is exactly some of the things that you hear me say. This is why one of the things that I do every day on the show here are those scalping trades, because that's exactly what we do. If the price breaks a resistance level, you trim into that strength. Hopefully those gains add to your wallet, if you will. And then if the stock comes back in, or if it drips down, or if it shows weakness, you're able to re-add there. So to me, and then that's the other reason why I say don't necessarily be afraid. If you pop and the stock moves and you sell it, don't be afraid of that. If you book gains, you can always buy this stock again. If it continues to have strength and you're missing out on some profit, wait for another setup and do the same thing. Or in the case, wait for the drip here. This is something that I've been trying to do more and more with some of my day trading. Definitely trying to sell into the strength and focusing on selling into the strength. I'm not perfect at it. Sometimes I'll have targets. We saw it earlier on Sarah, right? I was in that stock when it was showing upside strength, didn't get to my target, ended up taking a loss on it. That's how.
And with that, while you're on that, I had left BuzzFeed and moved over to SCRA because I've been looking at it for a while now, consolidating. And through this breakout, I really think this is it, where it's going to break VWAP. And it'll be a nice little trade from 190 to, again, a break of +2, which seems to be the number today is breaking 2. But I really think it will at this point, and be a small little base hit again. And just patience, waited for this one to sort of go. And I see it at 197. I think it's going to go a little bit over 2 and look to exit the position at that point.
And this is BuzzFeed, just to confirm?
No, SCRA.
Oh, SCRA. Excuse me. Let me bring up the correct chart.
I'm out of BuzzFeed. I left that and had moved over to the one that, we stopped out earlier.
Yep.
But just, the 1 minute and the 5 minute was too extended from pre-market, and I just feel the RSI had to come down a little bit more.
What I'll go ahead and this is just a good timing for this, so I'll go ahead and give you my outlook for later in the day here. First of all, market really looks range bound here. We really haven't done anything, just been a lot of chop right out of the open. We're marginally lower here. Marginally lower here. This T, for whatever reason, does that to me. Anyway, marginally lower here on the market. Really kind of in this range. Not a whole lot going on after this data. We'll see if tomorrow's data gives us anything else. As far as one of the things I'm going to be watching for later on in the day, I'm going to be checking back in here on Sarah, because we've seen some of these names show some strength in the pre-market, really kind of trade sideways or even trade down during the regular session. And then boom, right after the lunch break, when all the traders get back, they're looking for something and they run some of these names. Sarah actually looking like that could be the case here, right? A nice little move through this VWAP here. Maybe we get some expanding volume higher. So this is definitely going to be one that I'm watching. I'm with you, Crow. BuzzFeed at this point seems extended. I think that trade is over, at least for today. We'll see what happens later today, but looking forward here. Sarah, definitely, and that's SERA, definitely one I'm going to be checking back in on.
Yeah, the 5 minute chart, it looks like it's forming a nice cup if you look at all of after hours yesterday and pre-market today. So, I'm in, and we'll stop out at 185 if this doesn't.
You get the same type of shape even on the 15-minute chart there. Good spot there on that.
All right, team. Still got my ITW swing and UNG swing. The natural gas. Can the natural gas make a little push here to the upside? It's tried to hold 855s all morning. Will it start pushing back up?
Bitcoin making a curl back towards the highs here. If Bitcoin does in fact pop later here today, you could watch some of those other moves. Coin, SI, Mara, Riot, a lot of the names that we've talked about here that are related to Bitcoin. So that's moving here.
See coming up on my radar. It's a name just showing up on the scanner there. SI, man, what a pullback, and then they bought the dip on that thing.
New highs on Palantir. So we had a number of chatters on Palantir earlier. Looks like we are putting in a new high now. Palantir really, really strong the past several days, really since that earnings report. Palantir been strong. Break out of this 965 area. We are going higher here. Let me take a look at the daily chart, see if I can get us some other levels here on Palantir. I know this one gets asked about quite a bit. I'd like to see this come down here. This is what we're looking at now. Right in here. Let me draw this line. This is going to be our next spot here. Right in here. Yes, sir. Ma'am.
Roku with the nice lift there. Roku pushing higher, team. Definitely doesn't look bad at all. Growth names not looking too bad. ZM. Unity a little bit higher now. Snow a little bit higher. You guys can keep watch on those. SPY's trying to get back there towards the 412s. Just got back above VWAP again. Let's see if it actually takes out towards the 412s. You could see upside action there. So one that I'm looking at is Tesla. Just recovered 210s here. Could watch for it to kind of push back here, but have to risk off the 209 area. So this would be kind of more of a swing to the upside. Just looking at it now and seeing the SPY, because you see every time he comes back towards that trend line, it just rejects. So it's just like playing with us all morning long, right? 410s downside break. Nope, not going to happen. 41150s above, not going to happen right now. So let's see if we can actually get a 15-minute to close above that trend line or below the 410s. Levels to watch.
Yeah, and Easy Mike, you're absolutely right. There is a wall there, sell wall there at 985 on Palantir. I would imagine that if that actually falls, you could even see a 10 test here on Palantir today. So let's see if that 985 wall comes down. Watching Palantir here as well. Palantir up 6.4% right now. So I wouldn't necessarily call that extended, but a nice, strong, healthy move here today. All right, Mitch, I am going to get rolling and get to my daily tasks. I really, really appreciate it here. I appreciate everyone in the chat hanging out here again. Really, really good process stuff here today. Love the core of what we're doing. And of course, having Crow on here. Crow, you've been really doing well recently. So appreciate you joining us. We look forward to having you back.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. And I'll be heading out as well. Appreciate it, Mitch. And I'll be on the swing trade show as well.
Love it, Crow. See you there, my friend.
I'll be in the chat. Yeah.
Definitely. Appreciate you like always, team. You guys can always join up. And thank you, Crow. We'll see you next time. All right, Crow's out of here, team. We're going to keep going. AB will be joining me in just a second, and we'll keep going into some trading action. We'll see what happens. SPY still battling. Can't get through that 411. What do we get there on the 15? Another wick towards the upside. Look at those wicks, team. That's an important thing to keep watch on. If we do get that push towards 412 in the afternoon, and it's just a big drive, that's what I'll be looking for to take some swings to the upside. Of course, we got our start swing trading show at 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. We've been doing great. We've had great guests. Kristen Fromhertz on yesterday giving some plays. Like always, team, if you guys want to check out the swing trading show, that's at 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, right here on Benzinga. You don't want to miss that. One of the good things is that goes right into the bell. So we take a review of what are the biggest movers. We take a look to see if the daily charts look good for the continuation move. We'll see what happens. Like always, we don't know what will be into the green. We take a look at setups. I take sometimes trades there live. Yesterday, I took ITW. We'll see what happens on ITW. Right now, you guys can see this setup on this, what I was looking at. Look at this 15-minute setup, how we're starting to reverse. Really looking for the move back above 240s. And I'm in this one at 237.81s. So perspective, I was yesterday in this motion here, right off the VWAP, looking for it to get back there through this kind of 238 level and then going towards 239 and 240s. We'll take some profits above the 239 as we keep pushing and then look for the continued breakout on this one. This is more in diversified industrial play, trying to get it to come back up to these levels. It made a run to 250. Will we get back up there towards the 250? One stock to watch with this one is Honeywell. Going to keep watch to see if we can get a pop back above from these 200 or 199 level. Look how this has been acting as support here. This is either going to be a long-term support and it bounces right back to the upside, or you could break it down on the downside levels. We'll keep watching on Honeywell. All right, getting out of that chart, look at GE. That's continuing higher. That's what makes me think a little bit more that we could continue the upside in some of these diversified industrial plays. GE staying strong today. UNG finally getting a little bit of a bounce here. I've talked about it. I want to see this start closing above the 850 area on the daily levels. We'll see what happens today. We just got a little pop into the 863 levels. Really needed to get back to where it was yesterday. Yesterday's close, it was towards 890. We wanted to get it back to 890 and $9. We'll look to see if that can close above 9 and start making the real move up, right? We'll see what happens there on the natural gas trade. Definitely a good show. I appreciate you guys all in the chat. We had over 550 of you guys, so definitely smash the like button. We got a lot more still for you guys right here on, of course, Benzinga. AB should be joining in just a second here, but going to start wrapping up the day. We'll see what happens. Like always, you guys don't got to go anywhere. We do got some trading interviews that will be getting started. All right, let's see if we can continue the move. Let's go back to the SPY. Did we get towards the 15-minute on that candle? Did we start pushing on that candle? Look how we start trying to go back there. Still haven't gotten through that 412 level, 411.50s. If we do make that move, though, I do like still Amazon. So Amazon still holding this 98.78 area from pullbacks. If we finally get that run, I think we could get the run towards 100. Keep that one on my radar or on your radar. We'll see what happens. Google was one of my top watch this morning for reversal since it was beaten down, right? Well, look at the name right now. I did get stopped out of this one a little bit earlier. Probably should have stuck towards a little bit more of the swing trade action on Google. That would have kept me through this 94.50s, but now we're up there to 95.51. I think this one can get to 96 really easily as you see the resistance on the hourly. From there, you could run into a little resistance. We'll look to see if we get through that 96 area. All right, not looking too bad there for Google. Keep your eyes. Also, if the SPY does make that up move, Apple's been strong, right? Look at this move. We talked about the VWAP bounce on Apple multiple times when it was here. Now it's getting back up there. Will it get through the intraday high of 154.52? Talked about how this is the strongest one of the big names, at least I feel. Keep watch on Apple. Warren Buffett added. Will we get back there through the 158 level? Find out. All right, team, I'm going to get you guys over to AB. It looks like he's setting up right now. He'll be with us in a second. Smash the like button. We got a lot more, baby. Everybody wants the fast money. That's for sure, EKS. Hope you guys have been enjoying the action, Lido. It's good to have you in the chat. And I appreciate questions like the EMA question. Those help, right? Look how the 9 EMA here is the light blue line. And look how on the daily on Apple, when you start to trend back above the 9, you get right back to it, and you just keep following it. Right above it, back to the 9. Right above it, back to the 9. That gives you an ability to do what? Trend following, and that's what a lot of traders do. They follow the trend. We'll see what happens on the SPY. Will we finally get that push to 412s? Looks like we're finally getting a push above the 411s. And of course, by now, 11 to 12 in the afternoon, what usually happens? Retail has headed for the door, and now the algorithms can take it higher. I'm going to look for that move. I'm going to actually look for the swing here in Amazon. Going to look to try to get already some here. All right, putting in some orders there for Amazon, trying to get filled on pullbacks. I'll let you guys know because it's going to be more of a swing trade approach there for Amazon back up above 100. I'll let you guys know if I'm able to get the fill. You guys can keep up with me, of course, on my Twitter. Have some orders out here towards, there you go, got the first entry there, 99.13s. Going to hold off the 98.78s there for the swing. Let's get it to 100. SPY needs to get it back above that 412s, though. If not, we could get a test right back towards the 410s. Back towards the 410s. We got to be very careful. We'll see what happens there. And who knows what can happen. All right, like always, stay safe out there. I'm going to kick it over now to AB, and I'm out of here, team. You guys do your best. Keep trading. Keep things in perspective. And like always, check out my man AB. See what he got today. I'm sure he got some cool traders joining him today. What you got with you today, AB?
What up? I think we might get on a couple guys later on the show. But first, in the first part of the show, we're going to be going through it's 13F day. We're going to be going through some of the biggest hedge fund traders, what Michael Burry did last quarter, what Warren Buffett did last quarter, and really look and see kind of how some of these stocks are reacting. I know Taiwan Semiconductor got hit today on the news that Warren Buffett was slashing there. So I'm going to go ahead and transition us into Benzinga Live.
Look at this, team. I just want to show them this right quick.
Ooh.
As soon as we get off.
There we go.
You see what
I see?
All I needed to do, AB, was get you on. That's what it was. It wasn't me getting off. It was bringing AB to the market, right?
Exactly.
Well,
I got
AB.
All right. All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and hit our transition into Benzinga Live. When we come back, we'll be talking some Warren Buffett trades, some Michael Burry trades, as well as some AB trades.
This is Benzinga Live. Spencer Israel and producer AB. What's up, everybody? How we doing?
Someone told me buy high, sell higher. So.
Let's get Matt Hammond on the show to talk some IPOs. Jake Wojasek from Trend Spider. We have a breaking news.
All right, y'all. Let's start with my man Warren Buffett and Berkshire Hathaway. Took more Apple stock. Let's see. So Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway has made some important changes in its holdings during the fourth quarter of 2022, with a major reduction in Taiwan Semi being the highlight. Latest 13F filings show that Berkshire Hathaway has increased its stake in Apple, having bought more than 300,000 shares. Berkshire's current holding of Apple stands at over a whopping $116 billion, according to Whale Wisdom. So I think Apple remains still Berkshire's biggest holding right now. And of course, we talked about this yesterday on the show, but when you buy Berkshire Hathaway, you're getting exposure not just to hold on. Bugwog saying, AB, I think you and Money Mitch need to do a segment. Yeah, for sure. We are going to start doing more segments together. So you're not just getting exposure, obviously, to Apple or to all their private holdings that you can see when you look at Whale Wisdom or one of these sites that you can look at all of the holdings of Berkshire Hathaway. You're also getting exposure to the private companies that Berkshire Hathaway owns and operates, like Geico, Dairy Queen, and some of them are like, the full ownership. I think Geico might be fully owned by Berkshire Hathaway. I'm not really sure. Maybe they just own like 30% of it, or they're just major holders of these private companies. So you have to look at those and see kind of which cyclical things you like. Do you want some insurance plays? Do you want some Dairy Queen plays in there? But I am a holder of Berk B stock. I think Warren Buffett is just to me, like I'm holding Berk B right now because I see it as a little bit of a safer holding than say hold like a speculative tech stock or something. So a little bit more of a defensive name if you're worried about the market still coming down or worried about anything like that. Then I see Berk B as more of a value kind of name that won't probably drop too much long term. And I have it in my portfolio again as more of a long term holding, more of an investment, not necessarily trading it right now. I do, however, have some trades. I have some SPY calls that expired today, so I'm rooting for SPY to get above 415. I was hoping this morning we were gonna quickly kind of break out, and let's switch over from Benzinga.com real quick. Or actually, let's finish here with Warren Buffett real quick. Then we'll go over to my SPY calls and talk about that. But other major additions from Mr. Buffett include Paramount Global. Which Paramount Global, a lot of people have been pointing out as a potential value play for the last year or so, because Paramount stock, if you guys remember, was involved in the Archegos bust and just absolutely cratered. So once it got down there, a lot of people started looking at Paramount as, okay, now it's the time that maybe we can start getting into this name. It's been so beaten up. There has to be some inherent value built into this. Berkshire cut its stake in Taiwan Semi by 86%, now valued at over $600 million. So we'll take a look real quick. Let's switch over to my Benzinga Pro so we can take a look at how the stocks are reacting to this as well as my SPY calls. Again, pro.benzinga.com. No credit card needed if you want to check it out for 2 weeks. No reason not to. All right. So first of all, Apple trading a little bit higher. Mr. Buffett added some more Apple. Paramount trading up about 4% today. Wow. So looking at the daily chart, I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. So this huge crash is part of that Archegos fund getting blown up. And once Paramount, I guess it ended up going a lot lower than that. So it was at $36. We're still not even back up to where we were when that thing crashed. Okay. So wow, that's surprising to me. So Paramount, when you look at the actual numbers, the financials of it looks super cheap. I know. Yeah. Price to sales, half, forward PE 18. So it pays a, dividend of 4.3%. I don't mind I wouldn't mind some Paramount here. I don't think so. I can get behind that, Mr. Buffett. I'm not going to argue with you. You've made a lot more money in the markets than I have, so you must know what you're doing. Taiwan Semi, TSMC, or no, what is it? TMSC? Taiwan Semi. Oh, TSM. It's confusing because the company's TSMC, but the ticker is just TSM. So TSM's down about 6%. So this, I understand why Warren Buffett might want to get out of this right now. I think a lot of semiconductor companies have talked about the danger of there being maybe some inventory worries, maybe a glut. Because if you guys think about how we were in a shortage of semiconductors for about a year, more than a year, during COVID. And everything we buy now, whether it's computers, whether it's cars, whether it's televisions, whether it's refrigerators, have semiconductors in them. So, they were rushing all the companies, Taiwan Semi, who does what Taiwan Semi does is essentially the manufacturing for a lot of the other companies. So NVIDIA, AMD, I'm pretty sure all go to Taiwan Semi to at least have parts of their chips manufactured. And so all these companies rushed to make as many chips as possible because there was a shortage. So there was a high demand and prices were high. I mean, if you looked at the secondary market of what different graphics cards and stuff were selling for, NVIDIA couldn't produce things fast enough. Well, now the consumer demand has started to shift a little bit and people aren't buying as many electronics, as many computers, as many phones, as many TVs. Even demand for cars has come down a lot with interest rates higher, so now it's more expensive to finance a car, which has all caused these semiconductor companies. I mean, if you look at any of these stocks, doesn't matter which one it is, NVIDIA, and this is all, even though they've all been up like 30, 40% in the last month or so, they're still well off their highs. And I think over the next 6 months or so, I mean, here's the thing, is a lot of NVIDIA's positive price action over the past few months. I don't know how much of it. I'm not going to like try to say a percentage or whatever, but at least some of NVIDIA's positive price action has come from hype around AI. And I'm not going to say that it's not deserving, because I actually really like NVIDIA long term, and AI and robotics and all these things, these like really kind of emerging technologies are part of the reason I really like NVIDIA long term. But I think you have to realize that those things are still well down the road to actually adding revenue and adding profits and value to the company today. So if over the next couple quarters, right, if over this quarter, next quarter, the next few months, semiconductors sales kind of slow down because people aren't buying as many electronics, interest rates are higher, all these things, I would not want to be long any of these semi names. Especially consider, I mean, look at this move. I mean, NVIDIA went from 108 to 223. That's an 100% move from October to February. That's what? October, November, December, 5 months. In less than half a year, the stock is up 100%, while the Fed is getting ready potentially to raise interest rates again. I mean, I forget which Fed president, someone said the Fed's goal is a modest slowdown of the economy right now. They're being upfront about it. They're being blatant, openly upfront about it. They're saying we are trying to slow down the economy, right? The inflation, depending on how you looked at it, picked back up last month, was higher on a month-over-month basis. And so the Federal Reserve knows, okay, the economy's been fine for the interest rate so far. So if there's a chance they hike another 0.5%, another percent, whatever, I think these semi-high growth names go back down. And who cares about Chat GPT for NVIDIA? Like, these things are so far away that I don't think up 100% in a few months in this interest rate environment, I would not be buying NVIDIA here. And again, this is all coming from someone who is a long-term investor, a long-term bull of NVIDIA. I just wouldn't be buying it right here, right now at these levels. If this thing comes back down to 150, 160, then yeah, then I'm reconsidering it. Then I'll get back in it. I mean, I think if you're trading semis, if you're trading high growth in general, like ARK, you just have to be willing to get long, get short, because growth is not always, we're not always going to be in that May 2020 or that 2021 environment where just every single stock goes up and ARK's going up 5% every single day, and Tesla, all you can do is just, buy Tesla calls and you'll be really rich. Tesla, by the way, I am getting ready to, I'm not going to short it, but I am bearish here now. Like if I said a while ago, if I had to go long or short Tesla here, I'd go long. If I had to go long or short Tesla now, I'd go short. All right. I also said I was going to talk about my SPY calls. Let's get over to the S&P 500 real quick. So I actually got long these SPY calls yesterday before the close. I was hoping for a higher open this morning. Looking at the 2-minute chart here, so we've kind of just been trading in this range. If I'm long SPY here, if I'm trading intraday, I want to see us break this I want to see us get to about 412.50. $412.50, and that's when I'd be willing to start getting long SPY here on an intraday period. And if you start, if we zoom out a little bit, because right now we're looking at 10-minute candles. If we look at, we're looking at 2-minute candles. If we start looking at 30-minute candles, you go back to a few days ago. We're gonna need to break, and I know it sounds memey, and you can go on like Wall Street bets or whatever and see a bunch of this stuff, but I think we're gonna have to break 420 for the S&P 500 to really get some legs here, and we'll see if we're able to do that. Oh wow. Okay, hold on. I'm just seeing this. This is an interesting story. I'm gotta go off Benzinga for a second. Regional sports network owner Diamond Sports prepares for possible bankruptcy. Diamond Sports Group, the owner of the largest portfolio of regional sports networks, is preparing for a likely bankruptcy filing after skipping an interest payment due to bondholders Wednesday. The company, which is an unconsolidated independently subsidiary of Sinclair Broadcast Group, said Wednesday it decided to miss about $140 million in interest payments due on its bond holdings and would instead enter into a 30-day grace period. Yeah, so this is Bally Sports. So it originally was Fox Sports. So if you like watch, a lot of NBA, hockey, basketball, or baseball games are all on these like Fox Sports networks. And then when Disney bought the rights to Fox, since Disney already owns ESPN, they basically said, hey, you can't have ESPN and Fox Sports. That's basically a monopoly. You guys are getting too big. So they basically spun off the Fox Sports and I think sold just that part. And I guess that's to this Diamond Sports Groups. Or Sinclair bought it. Okay, so Sinclair bought the rights from Disney. So Diamond Sports, or actually, it probably says in this article. Okay, Sinclair acquired the portfolio of regional sports networks from Disney in 2019 for $10 billion. The deal came after Disney acquired and had to divest the sports networks. All right, so I was right about all that. Originally, the Fox Sports Networks, they were rebranded as Bally Sports, and while executives have said ratings remain strong for sports, including these networks, it doesn't make up for the shrinking customer base. All right. Woo! I'm actually excited about this. I hate Bally Sports. Well, I was really just upset when they changed it from Fox Sports to Bally. I just thought it was silly. That's where I watch all my Cardinals games, my St. Louis Cardinals games, which, by the way, we are getting dangerously close to spring training here, so we might have to do an MLB preview at some point. But all right, guys. Sorry, I know that's not. Tesla superchargers across the U.S. will soon be open to all EVs. U.S. network will be more than double by the end of 2024. Someone was asking me about that yesterday. Do I think Elon will comply? And I said, like, yeah, but I don't know how big of an impact it would, because essentially he was going to get, what, $8 billion for incentives or subsidies if they're compliant. I'm not sure, but let's see how. All right, Tesla's up about 1% today, so Tesla's having a pretty good day. Other big tech stocks, Microsoft down about 2%. Microsoft's been on a great run, again, of course, aided by ChatGPT. ChatGPT isn't Microsoft's, baby that Microsoft didn't develop, or it's not even OpenAI isn't even Microsoft's company, but Microsoft is an investor in OpenAI, so has a lot of exposure to that. Going over from Microsoft, Apple, of course, trading higher a little bit. I think you can equate that to, or attribute that to Warren Buffett adding more shares, which, I mean, that's insane. Warren Buffett has now amassed so many Apple shares. It's insane. I don't even know what that article say. He has over like 500 billion. How much, or not 500 billion? How much, 200 billion? Let's see. Buffett now has more than $100 billion in, or not Buffett, but Berkshire has more than $100 billion in Apple. That's insane. $100 billion, that's more than the market cap of like most major companies. How much is like GM's market cap? 60 billion. So Warren Buffett owns 2 GM's worth of Apple stock. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. What other like major companies? Damn, Nvidia's market cap is 500 billion. Holy cow. Now I realize how big of a company that is. All right. Checking up on the chat. Let's see. TMDI didn't mention it, but was trading that though. What do you think of Tesla right now? All right. So I mean, in congruence with Nvidia, like I was talking about with Nvidia and high growth. I mean, because these stocks are up like 100% in a couple months, or in Tesla's case, literally a month. I mean, look at this. We'll zoom in on this chart here. This is a daily chart. January 9th, this thing was at $100 flat, basically, we'll call it. Or no, 107 was really the low. Or 101 was low. 102. 102. Now we're at 211. It's up more than 100% in a month. So I wouldn't be surprised to see some sort of pullback here. Some people taking profits. I'm personally not short this stock. I wouldn't want to get shorted right now just because I've seen people get burned on Tesla getting short. But if I had to pick between getting long and short, I just think there's a very realistic chance that with the way the Federal Reserve is talking and what they're going to have to do with it to bring down inflation and potentially keep rates higher for longer. I mean, you had Elon Musk like publicly complaining about interest rates when they were going up, when most economists were like, yeah, this is what needs to be done. And I'm not saying I even disagreed with him, because that was like one thing I did agree with him on. I personally think like we could start cutting right now and it wouldn't make the world of difference in inflation, because I don't think most of the inflation's coming from the demand side anyway. I think it's coming from the supply side. You look at eggs up 75%. It has nothing to do with the demand for eggs. It has all to do with the fact that supply is being constrained. And raising interest rates does nothing to help us produce more eggs. If anything, it makes it harder for us to produce more eggs because it slows down economic growth. Anyway, I was actually in agreement with Elon Musk, but on the outside looking in, like, it's like if you have a CEO of a company that's complaining about 4% interest rates, like those are historically normal interest rates. Those aren't even high interest rates. So when I saw that, like, I take that as a sign that I don't think Tesla is very well positioned at all right now. If interest rates do in fact remain high where they're at right now for like a long period of time, I think it bodes very poorly for Tesla. And for that reason, I would not want to be in the stock right now. With that said, I mean, this thing could run another 20% on the upside in the next week, partly because a lot of people are getting shorted, because a lot of people are looking at it up 100% in a month and saying, okay, this is getting out of hand in a high interest rate environment. So that's why personally I'm not long or short Tesla right now. If I had to go one, like I said, I'd go short, just because I think that in the grand scheme, if you're looking at the wide landscape of all the companies out there, Tesla is one of the ones that's least positioned to do well in a high interest rate environment. I mean, we've already seen the company have to cut prices of cars multiple times. If interest rates keep going higher and it becomes even more expensive to finance a car, Tesla might have to keep cutting prices. So, I don't know. And I also would, honestly, I know Elon said he would not do this, but the stock was $100 a month ago. It's up more than 100%. So if you look at Elon's net worth, his net worth has doubled in the last month. You think he might take this opportunity to sell some more shares? I'm not saying he's going to. I'm not saying he should, but I think he's an idiot if he doesn't. And I know if I were him, well, I would have done a lot of things differently. But I would hope I would have. I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't have. But if I were him, I definitely would right now, because I think there's there's a chance this goes right back down to where it was. Silvergate, let's check that out. Wow, up 21%. So this is basically just all crypto, right? Silvergate is a provider of various financial infrastructures, its solutions, right? It's basically just crypto bank Silvergate is now the second most shorted stock in the US. Who just revealed, someone revealed in their filings yesterday. Oh, yeah. George Soros Fund Management discloses bet against Silvergate shares. All right, wait, I screwed that up. What stock were we just looking at? Silvergate. What up? What up? Easy Mike. Google that hammer bar from yesterday. Working J Rice says, let's go back to Silvergate. I mean, it's funny. Like, I think Soros is probably right about this. Like, this is probably going down for sure. It's probably going down. It's probably going out of business. But now that it's the second most shorted stock, I don't want to touch it. I've seen what stocks can do in short squeezes. I've seen what stocks can do when they have high short interest. I would not want to be here in Silvergate Capital short right now just for that reason. I think because it has so much other short interest. I think the whole thing with finding shorts is okay, because the way, especially if you're buying put options and not just outright shorting the stock. If you're outright shorting the stock, all right, that's different because you don't have to worry about different Greeks and all these things. But for options contracts, for a stock like Silvergate Capital or a stock like Tesla or a stock like Coinbase that a lot of people want to be short and a lot of people want to be like buying puts on and stuff, you really, it's you pay for that. There's a premium involved when a lot of people want something. When there's high demand for puts, you're paying for a high premium. So when I'm looking for shorts or if I'm looking to buy puts, I want to find names where people aren't trying to buy puts on already or aren't thinking, this company's going bankrupt, whatever. And then because then you get two things there. A, you're not paying for the premium. You're not paying for the extra demand of a, say, Tesla put or a Coinbase put or something like that that already has high implied volatility and people want to be short those names. But B, I forgot what. So you're avoiding the premium, and you're also avoiding the risk of getting short squeezed. Because if you find a stock that doesn't already have, if you take like a Sam Adams, for example, like a Boston Beer, like if I had a reason up here to get really short Boston Beer, like it's not one of those companies that you had. Well, actually, at this time, maybe there was a bunch of people short because holy cow, look how this thing exploded. This was from like the seltzer phase. But anyway, you get my point, right? If you find one of my best shorts ever was like about a year ago. On a Clorox earnings. So it was either like here, I want to say January 2021. Here, I can look on my Robinhood real quick because I made a bunch of money on it. So there should be a spike on my, January 2021. Right here, there was a big earnings report for Clorox. And the stock went down. This might have been the day. But the stock went down more than 5%. I think it might have just closed down down. Yeah, so the day before it closed at 222. And then the next day it opened. Where's the open? Oh, here's the open. So it closed at 222 the day before. Opened at 209 the next day. So it went down like, that's 5%. I don't know. Whatever it was, the move was like way higher than expected and no one was like looking for it or waiting for it. Oh wait. Oh yeah. Okay. That's right. Yeah, ended up being a good play. So again, to recap, if I'm looking to get puts or buy puts in a company, I'd much rather do it in a company where like no one's expecting it to crash already, rather than a Coinbase or a Tesla where people are already, paying for that premium. I'm gonna run through a few more stories on Benzinga.com, and then we're going to. Ooh, is Elon Musk considering a Manchester United? So Elon Musk may be considering buying Manchester United. I think it's the most valuable soccer club in the world. He said if it were any team, it would be Man U. They were my favorite team as a kid. That makes sense. Elon Musk just strikes me as a Man U fan, for sure. All right, guys. Any stocks or anything you guys are watching? Any trades you guys want to go over real quick? Yeah, I think I think it's time for that people really, really start gripping the fact that interest rates will probably be higher for longer than expected. I think they will just raise the debt ceiling before they cut the interest rates because of that. I don't think that's well, and I'm not saying they keep raising interest rates like above 5% or anything. I'm just saying that I think they keep them probably where they're at for longer than a lot of people would have thought. Bernard, I don't know who's Bernard's replacement. Oh, you're saying Biden just picked up a dovish Bernard. Yeah. Eliminate the debt ceiling. I agree. TTD. Check out TTD. Whoa. All right. The TTD, I feel like, is always crazy on earnings. So up 28% after the company reported earnings this morning. Let's go through our Benzinga Pro and see some more details from this. Better than expected Q4 adjusted EPS sales resulted in issued Q1 revenue guidance above estimates. The company also announced a $700 million stock buyback. Wow. I mean, that's a big buyback. I mean, but to me, like, again, we talked about stock buybacks on this show last week. I don't think it's a sign of a company that's really that confident in what it's doing in its future. Otherwise, why wouldn't you be, reinvesting it back in your business? If you run a profitable business and you turn a profit, the idea is that you can then use that profit to make more profit. And if you can return value to shareholders that way by growing your business and doing what you actually do instead of just buying back your stock, why not do that? So when I see that like Meta or someone does a buyback and the stock's up, I'm like, all right, yeah, great, whatever. But I don't, necessarily think that buybacks are the best thing if I'm a long investor. I also wanted to go through Michael Burry's trades last quarter. I don't know. To me, Michael Burry, he's been wrong a lot since the Big Short. Latest 13F filings show that the Big Short investor Michael Burry and Quatru Management increased their stakes in Chinese companies during the fourth quarter. Reuters had first reported on this story. What happened? Burry's Scion Asset Management added 50,000 fresh positions in Alibaba while it bought 7,500 shares of JD during the fourth quarter. The fund's last 13F filing shows Alibaba shares have gained over 13% since the beginning of the year, while JD.com has lost over 10% during the period. For All On Capital Management 2 added more than 2 million shares of Alibaba during the quarter, and the valuation of its holdings stands at over $234 million, according to the filing. The moves follow China's reopening, which has led to record inflows into emerging market equities, citing data from Bank of America Global Research. This has helped boost assets ranging from crude oil to European luxury goods in expectation of a reemergence of demand, the report said. China commenced steps to end its zero COVID policy, which was among the world's harshest anti-coronavirus regimes, in December, while officially reopening its borders in early January. This coat management, meanwhile, has added over 4.7 million shares of Baba the quarter, while it added over 1.2 million shares of JD during the period. So there you go. You got big funds getting bullish China. I tried to tell y'all. I may have been wrong about it for a long time, but I never changed my position on Baba. I said it would come back, and checking it out. Man, I feel stupid now. I was looking at leaps on this back when this was like below $100, and now, well below $100, below like $70. I'm gonna look in my, you know how on my MacBook I can search in the text thing for Baba was the only stock I owned for a while. All right. I'm looking at my iMessages right now. No way. Holy shit. I'm so stupid. Oh my god. All right, wait, I'm going to show you guys something. Except for, shoot, this has like my friend's full name in it. All right, guys, look at this. This is like the most classic look, in my text I found this on October 25th. All right, can you guys see this? On October 25th, I said, whoa, shoot, I just screwed up. I said, yeah, Baba might have bottomed today. Fat volume and the stock didn't go down that much. My buddy goes, like, what is even the bear case anymore? We go to war with China. I think I called the legit actual bottom on Baba. Let me pull up my Benzinga Pro now. This is the most classic, like, shoulda, woulda, like, why didn't I listen to myself? But I also said on here with Luke, like, you're either going to look like a genius or an idiot for buying Baba. And for a while, I was dead wrong about it. Like, I was saying I liked it from, so I was like kind of joking saying like, you should have listened to me about Baba because I was freaking dead wrong about it. But I said on October 25th, that I thought that Baba might have bottomed. So the 52-week low is 58.01. Where's my Benzinga Pro? I'll be impressed with myself if I called the bottom. 58.01. Yeah. 58.01. Oh no, it was actually October 24th. All right. So I was a day off on the bottom. But the next day, look, the volume. Yeah, I mean, look at that volume bar. That's what I was looking for. I mean, that's what you look for in the capitulation point of a stock, especially a stock like Baba that had been beaten up. So, I mean, look at this daily trend. I mean, it basically just went straight down. And none of this was really panic selling. From here in November or October 2020 was all kind of, meticulous, not really any panic selling, whatever, until okay, there was a big volume spike here. Bam. And then here. But here's what got me really interested in it is you had the huge volume spike, but the stock didn't really go down. I mean, it went the day before, so it went down 12%. Then the next day, the volume was big again. Where's my total volume? Yeah, show me the volume. So you got Burry. Could have bought a lot of Squishmallows with the pot. You have a tweet calling the bottom of Tesla. I know it's frustrating, like when you call the bottoms like that, but then you don't get behind it with your money, and then don't end up making money off of it. But you made a good call nonetheless. So it is what it is. PPI out tomorrow in the morning. Yeah, I mean, right now in this environment with the economic numbers, it's just tough because it's like PPI is good, or like today the manufacturing. Well, basically we want the PPI to show lower inflation. Let's see see what we're looking at for the preview. So I think the Fed likes the PPI because it can be seen as more of like a leading indicator than the CPI, because the PPI is essentially the price that businesses are paying, that businesses are paying for goods and not consumers. And the idea is that the prices that businesses are paying, if they go lower, well, then eventually those lower prices will be passed off to consumers. So it can be seen as more of a leading indicator to the CPI. I don't know how well that really tracks, or if it does at all, because in my head, just because prices get lower for a business, how many of them are really, turning around and passing it off to customers? I don't know. Maybe across the board. Ooh, by the way, it looks like we're getting some good action here on the side. Woo-wee! Wow. S&P 500 get breaking above. Looks like we're making new highs of day here. Again, I told y'all earlier, if I'm watching SPY, I want to see us break that 1250, and we just did. So, hey, if I put my money where my mouth is, here's where I got to get long SPY. And you know what? I'm going to do just that. I'm going to buy some SPY calls that expire tomorrow. Tomorrow. Just a day away. This is not investment advice, by the way. I'm basically gambling right now by making these bets or buying these options contracts. Transfer money. I got to deposit some money in my Robinhood real quick, though. There we go. SPY. We're doing SPY calls. It won't even let me buy any that expire today. That's no fun. All right. I'm locked in. 419s that expire tomorrow. And some 420s for good measure. Just a few. They're only $9 right now. All right. I'm in on some YOLO SPY calls. AB, I'd like to know your thoughts on SoFi long term. Best trick for options is buying deep in the money to maximize your. I don't know about all that. Not the way I trade. SoFi. I don't know. Okay, so here's my biggest thing with SoFi. I don't know a single person that uses it. And I'm in their core demographic, right? I'm 25 years old. Like most of my friends, do online banking, and SoFi is supposed to be this huge online bank for young people. The only thing I really know about it is the football stadium in Los Angeles. And I think I own some of this stock in a long-term portfolio somewhere that I bought at like $15. I don't really know why, to be honest. Ooh, my SPY calls are, let's see, today's return. I'm up $12 on one of them. Come on, SPY. Come on. Break into the green. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's like the only thing I really like sticks out to me about it, because I get it, like right, it's like an online first bank. I like it. I think it's a fine platform, but I just don't know anyone using it, and I'm supposed to be in their core demographic, so something's not checking out there for me, right? It's like even when Robinhood got really big, I knew a bunch of people using Robinhood, right? You see a bunch of people using ChatGPT or like all these other things that you hear about, and I've heard about and read about and wrote about SoFi for the past like 2 years in an investing context. And then I stepped back one day and I thought about it, and I was like, I don't know a single person that uses it for banking, for credit card, for student debt, for anything. And typically banks actually benefit from higher interest rate environments, because what they do, they hold money. They're banks. So when the interest rates are higher, it's not always that cut and dry. Like high interest rates mean bank stocks have to go up. That's not true. But in a good economic environment where the economy is growing and there's higher than normal interest rates, it can be a very good environment for banks. I don't know if that's true for SoFi, because SoFi is so much more of a growth company than, say, a Bank of America or a JP Morgan or a Citibank, that the high interest rates, because the high interest rates aren't good for growth companies that need to borrow money to grow. I don't think SoFi actually benefits from the higher interest rate environment that the other banks do. So for that reason, like if I wanted to own a bank right now, I'd rather go with the more established one, a Bank of America, JP Morgan, that on top of those reasons, also, they're going to pay you a nicer dividend. So again, if you're long SoFi long term and you love the company and you love the story and like for me, it would come down to technology because, like, I think if SoFi truly has some technology that is valuable in the banking fintech world, then that becomes interesting in itself. If it's literally just like an online, like essentially the Robinhood of banks, then I don't know how interesting that is to me. But again, I haven't like done super due diligence on the actual platform and the technology involved in this. So if you love the company, I'm not saying like, oh, I hate it. Like I never think it's going to go higher. I'm saying right now in this environment, there are other banks I'd rather own. And on top of that, it does scare me if I were long this, the fact that it's just like, how is that even possible that, they're spending X amount of money on, naming rights for the stadium in Los Angeles and commercials and all these things. And yet I haven't thought about once using it or switching banks, and I don't know anyone that is. So, I mean, it's a SoFi. It's a long-term story. I think their biggest customer is Debt Consolidator. Oh, shoot. I mean, we had, oh man, his name's escaping me right now. Matt Schwartz, I want to say. Is that his name? Matt Schwartz, the Lending Tree credit analyst. The leading credit analyst from Lending Tree on the show a couple weeks ago. And we were talking about, credit cards and whatnot. And I actually took up his advice and did a balance transfer on a card. I forget why. So I had to make like a bigger purchase on one of my credit cards. So I had a few $1,000s on there. And instead of paying it all off at once, I could put it on a balance transfer where you can put where you can have 0% interest on it for like, a year or something. So now I just have a year where I can pay that over time and pay 0% interest on it instead of having to pay it all up front on a month. And I think it like going through that process of the balance transfer, like, cause the way it really ended up being a no-brainer for me to do it. And I realized there are probably a lot of like things like this out there where I could be taking advantage of different, it's not a loophole. It's just like a way to move debt from one account to another that's offering you like a better rate for the current time period. Obviously, the trick with this is that if you don't get that balance transfer paid off in that year, then you pay an even higher fee. So, it's I'm not saying like, oh, go do that. For me, it ended up being the right thing to do, but it just got me thinking about like, I need to start exploring some of these different accounting, like tax, credit, debt things like more and more, because I'm sure there's a lot of things available out there to make it easier. Tesla near the highs. Check it out. How's SPY doing, by the way? How are my calls? Oh, no. Oh, okay. Actually, no, my calls are probably doing fine. Woo! Okay. Tesla is moving a little bit. I mean, here's the thing. I'm going to tell you right now. Tesla's going to take a move down from here. Like it's going to drop at some point a decent amount. I'm very confident in saying, not investment advice, but I just would not want to buy puts here because that could be, it could be tomorrow. It could be a week from now. It could be 2 weeks from now. And I don't want to buy puts and watch it shoot up 20% because there's a bunch of other idiots out there buying puts. And just like, because I'm an idiot and I'm going to go out there thinking, oh, I'm going to buy Tesla puts because it's up 100% in a month. And there's 100 other idiots doing that. And then the stock's not going to go down. And then those idiots we're going to all have to sell our puts or cover or whatever. And the next thing you know, the stock's going to be up 20%. So I don't want to get involved with that. I don't want to be, in that party at all. I'm like staying away from the party because I know something bad's going to happen. And I might miss out on a lot of fun at the party until something bad happens. But eventually when the cops do show up, I'm going to say, see, I told you guys. So I might be the one that am looking dumb because I missed out on the best party of all time, but I'll be right in the end. LiDAR. Toby Mathis, tax advantage info. I'll be honest. I think I might take a big step in my development as a member of society, as a person, and like pay someone to do my taxes this year. Every other year in my life, I've always just gone on TurboTax, uploaded my W-2, and clicked submit, and that be that. I think this year might be the year that like I pay a CPA to go through with me and take my and do my taxes. All right, guys, it's almost noon. I'm going to go ahead and hop. I've got a few articles got to get right into. But thanks for hanging out with us today. As always, smash the like for Money Mitch if you have not already. We'll be back later.
This is Benzinga Live. Spencer Israel and producer A.